FAB's candidate. I don't. I'm a senior man.
A lot of the voters here have declared their support for Bawumia, even though it is against the rules governing these particular elections. What will you say to that?
I wasn't part of those who conducted this. I wasn't part of them. Huh?
So quickly, let's speak to Mr. Fred Owari. He's a member of the campaign team of Dr. Bawumia.
Mathematical fever.
Mr. Owari, what has been the message of Dr. Bawumia to the delegates?
The message in the Ninipa or yo. Neoba party, Niawayama party. See a two man no ba be flag bearer. And she share Fufra or the Beba party mu Emma who dear Bemwa. Grassroots managers of the party no be any ebeji. Yen pe flag bearer keke and as a leader of the party keke. Ye pe president so obedi o man in the message no so or chere nyoma oba obeye ma omanumu aye mre amobia.
So after that that was a message to the delegate. There will be a new message to the people of Ghana. What would that
I don't moment accept people of Ghana no. So obe enye party nkwa omani nyina nti obe kire ne oba obeye any policies are odibeba.
That's Mr. Fred Owari. He is a member of the Bawumia campaign team.
Wait a minute, person may predict it, but we'll see what happens. But with voting, you have to wait for the counting to be done.
It's a better declaration on why in the flag bearer.
Any day when you miss him, me bumpire say, me that's it.
So that was Vice President. Dr. The NDC has said you are not their headache, as you have said. All right, okay. That's Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Bawumia. He just cast his ballot together with his wife, Samira Bawumia. They'll move to the party headquarters building. We are still here at the NPP headquarters at Asalam Down. The Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, not too long ago cast his ballots, certainly voting for himself. He's very much confident that he will emerge victor of this particular election, but he won't tell us the margin of votes that he expects. Let's speak to Mr. Asama Boateng, former Minister for Information under the Kufuor administration.
I don't know what to know, but it shows a very nice day. It's going to be a peaceful and enjoyable day. I'm going to the secret ballot, but
why are you here to support the Vice President?
But
why are you all here to support the Vice President?
I came to vote. Okay. I came to vote. I was in queue.
So, a lot of the delegates have declared support for the Vice President. Who is your candidate?
Yes, sir.
Who is your candidate?
I wouldn't disclose it to you, but my candidate will win. My candidate will win by over 75%.
Over 75%.
Yes.
What do you make of the process so far?
Not only near, obviously 2024, but on the bad you can't win the election.
May say me can't dear me to oh, me GD say will be winning. But me say me can't me to
So that was Asamoah Boateng, the former Minister for Information under the Kufuor administration. Let's quickly speak to Anthony Abeifa Kabo. He's also a member of the Bawumia campaign team.
Capture political power, and you must do everything in your power to ensure that you keep your flock together so you can capture political power.
Going forward, will the party still remain with this decision that all aspirants will sign and are taken? This is the first time happening.
No, this is not the first time. It happened.
According to the chairman of the committee.
No, this is not the first time. We did it when I was national youth organizer of the party. The elections that brought a Kufuor, that was part of it. It's just been reviewed.
Some political analysts believe that among the 4 candidates that you presented, none of them actually stands at all against the NDC's John Dramani Mahama. How do you respond? How do you respond to this?
You said some political analysts believe that what?
That among the 4 candidates, including the vice president,
yes.
candidate, that you cannot defeat the NDC's John Dramani Mahama. How do you respond to that?
What is the basis of that analysis? Did you question the basis of that analysis, or you just took it hook, line, and sinker?
He says that.
Yes.
One of them says that is Professor Kumar. He says that since 1992, amongst the candidates that have been presented or aspired to be the party's flag bearer since 1992, and you know the history, I need not tell you that this current system or this current candidates do not match up to what the party started with in 1992, 95.
But that's a wrong premise. That's a wrong premise. These elections we're having in 2024 is a different kettle of fish. We have a former president who is contesting. It's unique. We've never had that before. Have we? Since 92. Have you had a former president coming back? We've not. This is the first time in the NPP that a vice president is eventually going to be its flag bearer. So 2024 is a completely different kettle of fish. It's not a regular election. It's an election we've never had before, and we are on uncharted grounds. So for any political analyst to whet your salt, I think you need to put out the variables and the facts together so that people can...
The chairman of the party has said it goes against the regulations if you vote and then you declare who you voted for. But we've seen a lot of the MPs and ministers do same here.
No, I think it is not right. It's condemnable. It is against even the electoral laws of Ghana. Forget the NPP as a subsidiary. But the electoral laws of Ghana doesn't allow you to do that. So any citizen with your civic responsibilities, you must uphold the constitution of the country. So it's important. I think that is very clear. Should have no doubts about that. Yes.
Out of the 4
yes.
have served under the economic management team of this country.
Yes.
And the analysts say that these 3 individuals have contributed.
Oh, my brother, don't worry. Don't go far. Don't go far. John Mahama was head of economic management team. He went ahead to win 2012 elections. True or false? Did these analysts add that to the variables in the analysis? So you see how lopsided sometimes these analyses could get. Because there are issues, and if we have to open up the issues, we are prepared to open all the issues up. So it would be wrong for anybody to assume that the fact that the head of economic management team is not new. The head of economic management team was Atta Mills. He came back to win elections in Ghana.
But the situation in 2022,
every election is different. No one election is the same. 1992 election was different, 96 was different, 2000 was different, 204 was different, 208 will be... 2028 is a different kettle of fish.
But the economic books is not good for your party.
But just recently, you had Fitch upgrading Ghana. Did it happen out of the moon?
That's because the IMF is in town.
Yeah, but it didn't happen out of the moon. It will take a government's decision. It will take some thinking. It will take some action to be able to bring the upgrade of Ghana so that we can compete in the global market. So that's what is happening.
The first time we had to go to the IMF, but we had to do so doing we have to do so doing a debt restructuring. It's never happened in the history.
Have we had a situation where, you know, the world has been ravaged with COVID? Over the last 100 years, we've never seen any devastation that has brought economies, great economies, to their knees. Is it new?
Other African countries go to the IMF without doing a debt restructuring. It means that the Ghanaian situation is dire.
Really? But with the kind of things that we have done in our country, can you compare those African countries to what we have here? Do they have free education? Do they have free education? These are questions I'm asking you. They don't. They don't have the things that we have put in place here. We had a situation where for 1 year, Ghanaians were paid, were drawing water for free. They were not paying for it.
We are not paying for it through the COVID fund.
1 year, were you?
But we are paying for it now.
But I'm saying, but the economy is recovering. Post-COVID, there must be a recovery. Which country will not recover? Right? You need to recover, and the post-recovery measures are some of the measures that you are seeing. So it would be wrong entirely for people to say that some countries have been to the IMF without a debt restructuring. Jamaica has just come out of the debt restructuring. True or false? Is it not a country? They were distressed. But the kind of monumental infrastructure that we have put in place here, the kind of policies that we have put in place here, not a single one of our social intervention policies have been hindered, irrespective of the debt.
The Bawumia situation is different because into the 2016 elections, into the 2020 elections, he made us believe that he had what it takes to turn this economy around.
Are you an economics student?
I follow economics. I'm not an
but there's something in economics that says that, you know, when all things held equal, when all conditions are set, what does that mean?
But he has criticized a government at a point before.
Yeah, but those government didn't have to
when
deal with
when there was doomsday.
Yes, but those government didn't have to deal with the crisis that we are dealing with. And since we came in, have you heard doomsday in this country? Even in the face of the economic situation, have you seen doomsday in this country? It should tell you that some people are thinking. That's why we are not in that situation. Everything that we have said to the previous government, we are dealing with.
Doomsday was very much addressed by the previous.
Do you believe that?
I know so.
Doomsday didn't end with that.
I know so.
It didn't happen. On what basis was it dealt with?
A lot has been done to.
What was the fundamental?
By 2016, doomsday was no longer with us.
Are you sure?
Of course. By the close of 2016.
Are you sure?
Very much.
Are you sure?
Very much.
That's not true.
Very much.
But that's not true.
When did
that's not true.
When did doomsday end in this?
That is not true.
When did doomsday end in this country?
Doomsday was nothing but a financial issue.
Interesting reaction. Niabe Ifakabo and Maurice Ogbete. I'm sure it has also generated some sort of discussions in your home. Interesting.
Hear more
interesting one. They will go back to them and have more of that. But earlier, Kingsley and Abuedu made us aware that Kennedy Japan had gone to cast his ballot.
Okay.
We didn't get that feedback. We have it now. So we have a playback of when Mr. Kennedy Japan arrived at the polling station. Let's go. He also spoke with the media. Let's go and listen to what he said. We will be back. And then come down south and connect with Humu in Dom Kwabinya.
Bodyguard.
You know, I'm always for peace. So what I'm seeing here, if it will happen everywhere, the election will indeed be peaceful. I see many police officers here. So far, so good. But it's very early to, describe it so far, so bad. As for us in Central, we are always disciplined. We're going to be disciplined and make sure we follow the rules to the letter.
Right, so before the election, you had some issues concerning unfairness and all of that. And then just yesterday, you had a special meeting with all those who matter in the party.
The assurance is there. So all I'll say is let's wait till after the close of the polls. Then we'll see. But so far, with what I've seen here, I hope it will be everywhere. Then the process, if I win, yes. If I don't, yes, I'll still be a party and I'll congratulate the winner. So I don't have a problem. I'm just waiting patiently, to see the outcome of the election. All I don't want is violence. You see everybody going in orderly. Vote. That is all I expect everywhere. So my only challenge is, those who take the law into their own hands and think they are above the law.
All right, so that was Kennedy Japan there earlier when he went out there to cast his ballot and spoke to the media about the entire exercise going on, which is to elect a flag bearer for the new Patriotic Party. Let's take you over to Dom Kwabinya to talk to Humu, who is standing by. Humu, good morning to you, and what can you report for us?
And voting is taking place at the basketball park near the Atomic Police Station. This is the largest constituency in the country, and it is also considered as a stronghold of the NPP. This particular party has always managed to pull around 60% in terms of votes during any general elections. At this particular polling station, voting is supposed to be starting around 7 and ending around 2 before counting. Almost 1,803 delegates are supposed to cast their vote. As at now, about 400 people have voted. Unfortunately, there are long queues here, and the complaints of the delegates are that the process is quite slow. They were expecting more queues, but unfortunately, there are only 2 queues here, and 5 people are taken at each particular time. This is probably one of the constituencies that would determine how the voting will go in the general elections. All the candidates are supposed to have 2 representatives, but unfortunately we have only the 2 top candidates. That is the Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia and Mr. Kennedy Japan, who have their representatives here. The other 2 do not have their representatives here. We are just joined by the National Youth Wing Administrator, Mr. Prince Sadat. He cast his vote some few minutes ago, and he's going to talk to us about preparations made by the party in terms of voting in this particular constituency. Prince, you voted. You've also seen how things are going. Unfortunately, the process is quite slow. Why is it that?
Like you said, Dome Kwabenya is the largest constituency in the country, and we have nearly over 1,800 people voting at this center. Fortunately for us, we have 2 polling stations here. So the polling stations have been divided into 2, even though it is 1 constituency. So we are pleading that the people in the queue should rather exercise decorum and vote in turns. I believe that by 2 o'clock, the queue would be cleared and we would have a good candidate winning for us today.
We have heard that the EC recommended there be at least 4 queues here. Why did the party stick with the 2 queues when you know exactly your numbers are huge here?
Largely, it's the EC that is running the election. If you look at the polling officers and everything about the election, is the Electoral Commission. That is their mandate. So they advise the party, and then you see Ghana police too have taken control over here. You can see the process is going on very smoothly, and we believe that at the end of the day, the best candidate will win.
I know the party is looking forward to breaking the 8th coming next year, and we also know that this particular constituency, especially your MP, has been in the news recently. As your delegates are voting, what will influence them to pick a particular candidate over the rest?
Like you said, the target of the party is not just to conduct a primary. The target of the party is for us to break the 8th, for us to send His Excellency, former President Mahama, to perpetual opposition. That is the target of the party. So we are looking at a candidate that will be able to represent the party well and help us achieve that. I can say on authority that all the 4 aspirants, each of them would give Mahama a good run for their money. But then we are looking at a candidate that will make our work simpler and easier. And that candidate is no other person than the Vice President, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. I just casted my vote for him, and I believe at the end of the day, he's going to win the primary and give Mahama a very tough one going into 2024. And inshallah, he will be declared the President of Ghana in December 2024, and then he'll be sworn in January 2025.
Finally, you are the youth wing administrator of the party, and I know a few days ago the candidates were made to sign an agreement, sort of, that they are ready to work behind whoever is going to win. And you have already said from your party leadership that unity is important if you are going to get the needed victory in 2024. As a youth administrator, what processes or strategies have you put in place to ensure that at the end of the day, the youth are still united behind the winning candidate?
That's fine. As a National Youth Wing, we have embarked on a lot of programs this year alone. For the first time in history, the Youth Wing has gone around the entire country to touch base with our youth wings, from constituency to constituency. And the program that we have for next year, it will marvel you. And we are fortunate that if the Vice President is elected, He's a grassroots campaigner. He goes to people to campaign, not the other way, like organizing debates and meeting them. No, you come to your doorstep. So, I believe that for the first time, you have a sitting vice president coming to knock on your door to solicit for your vote. That is the man we believe in, and we believe that he will surely take us to break the 8 next year.
You keep mentioning the vice president. Finally, before you go, you keep mentioning the vice president. But we've been told that leadership have agreed that nobody should openly disclose their support for any candidate. Why are you mentioning him, and are you trying to influence the delegates in this constituency to vote for him?
Not at all. I'm a polling station chairman here. I have about 19 people that are working under me in my polling station, because we have 4 polling stations that we control here. Yes, you have said that unity is key, but beyond unity, we are looking at someone that will make our work easy as party people. We have gone on the ground, we've listened to the people, and everybody that we talk to, they mention vice president name. So it's not the way that we are imposing a candidate for the party. That is not the case. We are rather implementing the choice of the grassroots, the people at the base. They are saying that bring us vice president and we'll make him the president of Ghana.
Thank you very much, Prince. That was Prince Sadat. He is the youth wing administrator of the New Patriotic Party nationwide. Here at Domi Kwabenya, where voting is taking place. Voting is supposed to end at 2 p.m. when counting begins. Unfortunately, we are where voting really end. Luckily for us, one of the delegates there.
Then I have a quick comment to make.
Okay. We just have the NPP National Election Chairman who just cast his vote, Professor Michael Quay.
I'm going to headquarters.
Most definitely.
Of course, I live here.
Most definitely. Most definitely. He is a former MP. That is the former Speaker of Parliament. He's the chairman of the New Patriotic Election Committee. You have just come here. What have you observed so far?
Oh, everything is very, very orderly. The sun is high, but you can see that people are gently in the line. There's no difficulty at all. This is a sign of a civilized people, and I'm very proud of them. But of course, that's my constituency.
There are concerns that the process is quite slow. There are long queues with over 1,800 delegates. What's happening?
It's unfortunate. We realized this, and so we created 2 extra stations as a second thought. But you see, we are told that some candidates didn't want it to happen. And without the candidates having agreed, nothing is done. So I'm very, very sorry that this line is here at the moment. But it will be well.
Okay. Do you expect voting to end at 2 p.m. with the long queues?
Oh, if the voting doesn't end at 2 p.m., of course, we all know the law on the voting. Anybody who is already in the queue will vote. So it may already take us too long, but it doesn't matter.
As a chairman of the election committee, what do you want to tell delegates here as they come in here to cast their vote?
Oh, all I'll tell the delegates is that they've taken the trouble to come. They've taken the trouble to stand in the sun. They are showing that they are serious citizens. And for that matter, they must be patient about everything, and that they must just vote for their choice and go home or be around to listen to the winner.
What is the limit for media? Because we are not being allowed to seek the information with all the accreditation that we provided.
What kind of information do you want?
So the number of people who have voted so far.
Oh, no, but you see, when a person is in the process of processing people and the line is so long, how do you stop and then give information? So take your time, you will get it. And that is why we actually invited the media in their numbers and gave you accreditation. And it is a very, very, very good step we've taken, because we don't want anything to be secret. Everybody must see everything. Everybody must record everything. Everybody must take any picture that he likes, because we are an open society. But you know, you cannot also sort of disrupt the process. Let me explain. You want to ask how many people have voted so far. The person must go through the records to tell you. But the person is at the same time busy applying indelible ink. So take your time. You will get what you want. In fact, the important thing is for you to make your own observations. Observe what is happening.
Basically, we've realized that there's a little bit difference in terms of security. We've seen that the delegates are being scanned before they go to cast their vote. What necessitated that?
We want, people say people take their phones and take pictures so that they go and sell their votes. Fine. So we have to make sure that that doesn't happen, isn't it? And for that matter, there must be more scanning of people. If you see a phone, the police will seize it. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was Professor Mike Okwe. That's the former Speaker of Parliament, and that's the chairman of the NPP election committee. He was just speaking to us briefly about how the process is going. We just have. You're going to add your daddy. Just a second. We have. Is it? We have. Who is he? That's the father. We just have one. Former ambassador to India. The former ambassador to India, Professor Mike Okwe Jr., who is just coming in. Excellency Mike Okwe Jr. Mr. Mike Okwe Jr., who is just His Excellency Mike Okwe Jr., who is just joining us briefly to tell us more about the elections here. You are just coming in. Are you a delegate?
Yes, I am a delegate, and I'm here with my fellow polling station people from Hachomain, and we're here to vote. So we met in my house. We've come together to come and vote. So
we just want to know briefly what is going to influence you into picking a particular candidate to represent the party in the general elections.
Oh, that is why I thought we have something called secret ballot. Yeah. So I think we're not allowed to do
not one person. I mean, what will influence your decision? What will make you pick a candidate, a particular candidate?
Oh, I mean, the person must be fit for the job. And so that's the criteria that I'll use to do that.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's the former ambassador to India, Mr. Mike Okwe Jr., who is sharing pleasantries with his father, who has just come to monitor activities here. So from here at Domi Kwabenya, we'll move straight to Amasaman, and then we'll bring you reports of how voting is going on over there. Security is in place here. We don't really have actual numbers of personnel here for security reasons, but we're still here voting a bit slow but ongoing, and at 2 p.m. we'll come back to see whether the 1,800
Humu Kumsum Abdullah, who reached us from Dom Kwabenya, and you saw the chairman of the Presidential Election Committee, former Speaker of Parliament too, Professor Michael Okwe there. I also saw his son, Michael Okwe Jr., who's former ambassador to India, and now the Chief Executive Officer to the Free Zones Board. If you're just joining us, this is our coverage of the NPP presidential primaries that is coming off today. As we speak, November 4, everything is supposed to come to an end in terms of the voting at 2 p.m. and after which we'll move straight into counting, and then by close of day today, hopefully, I will not to go deep into the night as usual when we have elections of such states. We'll get to know exactly who's going to lead the New Patriotic Party come 2024 general elections. We know who's leading the NDC. The NPP is yet to decide, and other political parties are also yet to decide who is going to take them into the general elections next year, 2024. But Winifred, briefly, I mean, what do you make of the entire exercise from the day it started with nominations here and there, special delegates, and now to this particular one?
So far, so good. I mean, today is the final clarion call.
So far, so good. Reminds me of a song.
Of what? Tell me. What song is that?
No. So far, so good.
Oh, come on.
Just go, don't mind me. Don't
Right.
mind me.
So today will be the final clarion call. Already we are hearing people declaring for who they want to support, even though the guidelines tells us it's not to be so. I believe that there is some gray areas that the party needs to address going forward, probably in the 2024 elections. Because if you tell us you are not supposed to show who you voted for, but as soon as I finish voting, I can come out and then come and say who I voted for. I believe there is some kind of address they need to do there. But we are being told that this is a two-horse race between Kennedy Japan and Dr. Baumia. It also remains to be seen whether it's going to be so, especially because polls that have been made already seems to suggest that it's going to be a fate of destiny for Dr. Baumia. Is it going to be so? I keep saying that this is a party that we got the term fear delegates. Is it going to be so? At 2 p.m., is it going to be so? But also, if we should put polling stations such as which Humu just reported from, look at the numbers. Professor Michael Quay is telling us that already they had decided to split the polling station into two, but delegates had refused. I have a problem there because delegates do not decide where they vote. If the party had realized that there was going to be congestion at a particular polling station, and so they needed to split the polling station into two, then there should have been, there should have been some, amendment in there to prevent the number of people, converging there. And I'm wondering where Humo is Dom Kwabenya, whether at 2 o'clock we are going to finish.
Well, the regulation says, and per voting also states that if by the time of closing polls,
if whoever is in the queue is allowed to vote,
finish up with the entire exercise. So at least if you're in the queue and it's 2 and you've not actually voted yet, at least you'll be allowed to vote.
But that can also make up for other polling stations that do not have a lot of numbers. They can finish earlier. And so maybe probably we'll just have to wait for the others to wrap up.
Or do you also make the entire process so far?
So the entire process so far today, or
from
the days leading up to?
And what is happening now.
The NDC monitoring what's been happening in the NPP is interesting. When you engage officials from the ruling party and then the largest opposition, the NDC, you get very varying thoughts about how the country has been run, the economy, for example, and then the chances of all these two. Yes, Winifred, you mentioned the thoughts that this is, most likely between
the two,
the vice president and the polls that have been released ahead of this November 4 election have proven quite interesting. The fact that I was told by one of the geopoll analysts that the current president, His Excellency's popularity or otherwise, will be telling on the perceived preferred candidate for him, which is Dr. Mahamudu Baumia.
Even though he has not even, has the president mentioned Dr. Baumia as the one?
So that's why I say
the
assumed preferred candidate for the president is to be presumably Dr. Baumia. So his popularity would be telling on.
That's hold on for me. Let's go to Tema and then talk to our correspondent Michael Dewonu, who is standing by for us. Michael, good morning to you, and let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning to you, George, and thank you so much for having me on the show.
Share with us at where you're located this morning at Tema East.
Exactly. So we are here at Tema East constituency. Specifically, we are at the Trediase Park where the elections is ongoing. The numbers are really huge when you look behind me, and it is really understandable because here in Tema, it's not score less than 50%, except in 2012 where they had 48.4%. And so you can understand we are talking about a delegate of 1,200 delegates alone in Tema East. In Tema Central, I am also told that they are, it's running around 1,000 for Tema West is also 1,000 for thereabouts. And so, Tema is an NPP stronghold, and over the years they have enjoyed this getting to the seat where the NDC took the seat from Titus Global. And so that has been the dynamics when we come to Tema and NPP election. And so the delegates, the numbers we are seeing here, it's not surprising at all, over 1,000. So what is happening is that they've been grouped in electoral areas. And so the various electoral areas are being called in badges in numbers of 5. And so you would see Newtown electoral area, you will see Bankuma electoral area, you see, so they are just in, before you go into the voting center. That is how the process is being. So we will try and get into the voting center and also speak with party officials and see how the process is being. Let me tell you that security have been very, very, very tough, and it's been a top notch here. Quite a number of security personnel have been deployed, and they are making sure that everything is in order. The district, the municipal chief executive have also come through, and he's also cast his vote already. We would be finding out from them and also find out from party officials how the process has been so far, and also how the process is being. Honorable, thank you so much for joining us. You are live on GTV, and so far the process has been moving smoothly. I saw you cast your vote. How would you describe the whole situation, and looking at the numbers involved, what would you say the process has been so far?
Well, I think it's been very smooth so far. Since morning, the numbers are also very encouraging. I've been here since 7:30, and encouraging. Look at people voting, those around and all that. So clearly, people really want to vote. Everybody wants to be part of this history process of choosing a new flag bearer to represent our party. So far, it's been smooth. So far, so good.
Yeah. We know about the dominance of the NPP here in the Tema East constituency, except in 2020 when the seat was taken from you. How are you building this whole process and making sure that the party comes back stronger and stronger? I know you are standing for the seat in the Tema East to contest with the current Ashai Odamtin, who is holding the seat currently. How are you building this whole process to make sure that?
Well, so if you look at today, if you look at the elections carefully, we in Tema East, we are actually very united now. Most of us are united. That's how come I even came on unopposed. It tells you that we have resolved to win our seat back. So this particular primary is speaking to everybody. I mean, everybody should have its own right of choosing who the preferred candidate is without any fear, without intimidation. And so far, Tema East has been good. We've not had any case of anybody being intimidated whatsoever. Who are casting their votes without fear, without intimidation, and I believe strongly will come out as one big united elephant party in Tema East than never after this primary is over.
Yeah, looking at the numbers I can see over there, are we sure that by 2 o'clock everybody will
Sure. It's just 11 o'clock. It's not 11 o'clock now. And then and it's moving quite fast.
Okay.
So we believe strongly that everybody could cast his or her vote before 2 p.m. today.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Honorable, and we wish you all the best in all the process. Yeah. So we also want to get closer to the chairman, the constituency secretary, to also tell us how the process has been so far, and also what their anticipation is with regards. How has the process been so far with regards to the huge numbers we are seeing, and in terms of the process, how it's moving, how will you describe?
Okay. That would have made the process more faster and a bit swift. But the way everything is mixed up is making the whole process a little bit challenging. Because in 2010, by 12 o'clock, we were done.
Oh, okay.
In 2014, I think by 11:30 here, so we were done. And in subsequent elections, we will not opt for this particular polling center because of the inconvenience it has created.
Oh, okay.
The party were not consulted in choosing this particular center.
Oh, okay.
you can see the inconvenience that is creating for a lot of people.
Exactly. I
Considering
was told
the
that
numbers.
initially that there was a bit of stampede.
Of course, one person got injured because the entrance is very narrow.
Sure.
We've rushed the person to Port Clinic, and she's responded to treatment. We would have preferred a more spacious place like Olam's, where we used to, or maybe it's Mahian Secondary Technical School. But that notwithstanding, it's been a peaceful process. I spoke to the agent representative of the various aspirants to comport themselves, because we are not going to countenance any mayhem or rude, or we are not going to countenance anything that is appearance with the regulations of the elections. So they've been complying. You can see that there are a lot of collaboration between us and the security service, the police, and then the other security service. The BNI. You see me having an interaction with them, and we say the EC2 have been conducting themselves very well. And so it's been a peaceful process. And we know at the end of the day, our party will become more united than we came to this election. That we are very hopeful.
No, okay. So because you want to do it, the electoral, that's why you've grouped them in the various electorally, so that electoral area, so that you call them in.
In the morning,
Yeah.
I proposed that to EC that based on experience, because knowing our people, some are workers, others to say the aged and everything. We should give a lot of privileges to some people, and then we vote according to electoral area. Since it's 2 booths, so that 2 at a go. So people know that, okay, if I'm at work, maybe only will vote by 12. This people will vote by 10. It makes the process more smooth. But the regional commander said that he's not going to listen. That has not been part of the regulation. I told him that, of course, we made the regulations. We look at law is grounded in reasonability. People that we are propounded this law for to guide them. It's a work as well. So as you see there, they are not standing according to electoral areas.
Oh, okay.
What we'd rather decided as an alternative way is to do it zone 1 and zone 2.
Oh, okay.
So those voting on Proxy and that of Community 1. Community 1, we have 3 electoral areas. They are voting on one side, that of Temamahia. Then we'll add 1 electoral area from one Temamahia to the other booth. So that is how it has been going. So 10 at a go, 10 at a go, 10 at a go.
Yeah, but I was thinking that probably the police were just doing their work, because initially when I even came in, because I didn't have accreditation, they wouldn't allow me into the voting area, but they have to receive call from above before I'm allowed in. So that was the criteria that was set, and I think they were just following that. What do you think?
I disagree with that. In the sense that they are here because of us, and they are to work with us.
Sure.
We are not imposing.
Sure.
They might not understand the dynamics here.
Very true.
I can tell you that every election year, Tema East is a flashpoint.
Oh, okay.
You cannot compare here to Tema Central.
True.
Tema Central can be orderly. They do things according to regulations here and there. But I'm saying that the numbers here.
Yeah, the numbers are quite.
Look at the way adults of that nature, how we group them.
Yeah.
If it is your mother, if it is a sister, if it is your spouse, how will you feel? True. So you are a police officer. Without a uniform, you are a civilian like me.
True.
So it's the uniform that differentiates us. I'll bring my expertise and knowledge to bear. You bring your security context. If you say you apply the law strictly, that will not make everybody feel convenient to be able to apply. Provided all the aspirants representatives has also conformed to what we are saying, and they've seen reasonability in what we are saying. I don't see the Wula Balu. Initially, they were saying, well, we should do it on the park. And I asked him, will he provide canopy? That wasn't the park is Akojo School. That is not, but the center is Tridase.
Sure,
Yes.
sure.
So we insisted that no, it should be at Tridase. What we want them to do, we are not saying they should bring the entire route, but we are saying that where it creates inconvenience, let's look at alternative ways. If you are extremely conservative,
sure.
We want to achieve a goal. Exactly. So if these people are here to 2 o'clock and post close and we close at 4, is that what we want?
No.
That's not what we want. At the end of the day, the party people want to vote. They will go to the forecourt of Accra Sports Stadium. Sure. That is their interest. So they want to cast their ballot, go home, change themselves, and look for their party paraphernalia. You see today, not much of the party people are in their paraphernalia. Because we told them that The best place to display their party loyalty and paraphernalia is at the forecourt of what Accra Sports Stadium. So we are working within time, and I mean it's very frustrating. Very frustrating.
We can understand that, but we thank God that everything is peacefully now, and
a typical example like you were talking about. So we have worked with the press in Tema for years.
Sure.
They know you when they organize press rally. You are the very people.
Exactly.
What would be the negative impact of your presence here to the elections?
Sure.
You are not so I don't see the back and forth arguing with the media.
Yeah.
The media is our friend. Without us, how would people hear what is going on? So they could have allowed you to not necessarily to the booth, so that you can your interviews and then perform your task. But I don't know. Maybe it's just another show man bravado.
Thank you so much, Secretary, for your time. Yeah, so George, that has been in the situation. Initially, when they started here in Tema, there was just some brief altercations because of having to get access into the premises. One person has been injured, has been taken to the Tema Port Clinic. But apart from that, the process is being smooth so far. They are just calling the delegates gradually to come in to come and cast their vote, and they are expecting that at exactly 2 p.m. they will be able to cast their vote, and everybody will be done to declare the winner of the whole election. And so that is the situation we have here at the Tema East constituency, specifically at the Chedrasi School Park, where the election is currently ongoing. I would hand over to you, except you have some few questions to ask. Apart from that, we will still be monitoring situation across Tema, and we would be reporting appropriately to you. And once again, let me say a very kudos to you and your team in the studio for the great work you are doing up there.
Thank you very much, Michael. And that's Michael Don reaching out from Tema East. Also smooth exercise going on, and voting has also started. And if you check with the time, it's we have close to about 11 minutes that we hit the hour 11. So voting has been on for the past, I think, 4 hours.
5 hours.
Yes, and so far it's been good, and so far less reports of any bit of irregularities, if I put it as such, that we've had so far.
Okay. We are streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. In case you have to leave the comfort of your home or your shop, wherever you are watching us, and you have your smartphone with you, you can join us live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Already, we are seeing some comments from you. Agarios Ghana Boy says, the reporter has done a fantastic job. No more lie. Indeed, yes, our reporters are giving us up-to-the-minute updates as to whatever is happening in the various locations that they are. Amos Odro says, I'm watching live from South Africa. Amos, thank you for joining us. Ameyao Anthony says, Ghana sweet. One who loot, one who share, one who collects are all looters. God, God is Ghanaians watchman. Love Ghana, yes. And Ameyao Anthony again says, love Ghana and vote wisely. I'm sure this is for the delegates who are exercising their franchise this very day. Then we have who is government? Government, Ghana don't have leadership problem. We, the citizens, are the problem. Let's stop blaming government. We are the looters in Ghana. That is the truth. Government will come and go. We have another one that says, Ghanaians, let's change our mindset and love Ghana and do the needful things all the time. And Ronnie Note has also just joined us and is watching. You can also join us and watch with us.
Okay, all right. Let's join Samantha, who is reaching us from, I think, Sunyani. Yes, John, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And I hope you're doing well, John.
Yeah, I can't complain. I hope you are doing better.
Charlie, we also can't complain here in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us. What can you share with us as to what's happening at your location in Sunyani this morning?
Well, here in Sunyani, basically the exercise has been quite smooth, and although it started a bit late, I'm in the Sunyani West constituency, which is one of the two constituencies in the Bono Regional Capital area. The other constituency, Sunyani East, has been suspended because of a pending legal issue that has prevented some of the key delegates from being elected. And so Sunyani East, there's no voting going on there. And the voting started a bit late in Sunyani West. It was built to start at 7, but it finally got underway around 8:15. And in all, there are about 6,661 delegates casting their votes in the 11 constituencies in the Bono region. But where I am now, Sunyani West, there are 1,044 people expected to vote. And at the Odomasiman Senior High School, where the exercise is taking place, 2 voting centers have been created, and the exercise is rather progressing smoothly. The only hitch that I learned about was one delegate who could not find his name in the register. And at the time, the officials undertook to sort it out and make sure that he gets his opportunity. But apart from that, everything has been smooth sailing. Security presence has been quite heavy with policemen everywhere you look. But as I speak now, the exercise is progressing steadily, and I'm sure about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock thereabout, we should be able to finish this exercise.
Okay, but does it look like we have a lot of people in the queue?
Yes, it's been quite heavy for both queues. One of the queues for a moment, I thought they were almost over, but I don't know where the delegates suddenly, more delegates appeared, and they now have a very long queue in place once again. So the queues are quite long. And that's what gives me the confidence that it's likely to end by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
And you have an idea of the number of delegates expected to vote in that particular area?
Yeah, that's 1,044.
Okay.
1,044. But the voting has been very steady. So I'm sure we are well past the halfway mark by now.
Okay, all right.
And John, is that 1,044 where you are? Exactly where the polling station where you are? Is that the number?
Yeah. Yes, that's Sunyani West constituency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, John. Let's go to the party headquarters, and we have Mr. Kenuforiata there. Let's go and pick that feed. John, we'll join you again if you are still with us.
8%. We've also seen how the currency has been quite stable during this period. And then the growth numbers are really good. We're down to, it was expected to be 1.5%, we are 3%. So I think we're in a good place. We passed all the issues of the review, and so we are expecting that the 3rd, 4th week of November, the fund will also meet and come up with a second tranche disbursement. So the economy is getting stronger. I think everybody, through the difficulties of the domestic exchange program, are beginning to see a stabilization. That is good.
The 2024 elections, you'll be governing an economy which has limited access to the international market.
That's correct.
What are some of the strategies you put in place to ensure that we grow?
Right.
In this
I think, as you know, the president mandated the ministry to put together a growth agenda, which we have done. And you saw on Friday we had this mutual prosperity dialogue. How do we, as a state, private sector, and all stakeholders, get into a growth agenda which will create jobs and really ensure that it's sustainable beyond the austerity. So I think the combination of the macro stability, deliberateness at the growth agenda is what will really see us through.
The post points to the fact that Dr. Bawumia is likely to win. He's been chairman of the economic management team.
That's correct.
What will you be telling Ghanaians to convince them that even though we've gone through challenges, we can do something new, something better?
I think really he's got of the steady hand, and we all know whatever we say, that his competence, his knowledge of it, and how he has really managed the vice presidency through these 8 years. I think it's laudable, and we are really confident that in Nana Akufo-Addo handing over to him, we'll have the type of longevity, continuation of policies which is important, and really avoid a one-term presidency, which we know that in 4 years you can do.
So you are Dr. Muhammad Bawumia and the NPP party anymore?
I think the people will decide.
No, hand you over to him. That means
I think
now believe it's the party.
I think the most important thing is policy continuation. And therefore, we as a party should do everything to ensure that we come back to continue with the policies that we have.
Dr. Muhammad Bawumia Bedi Party.
Okay.
President of the Republic.
All right, so that was the finance minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, very much confident that the vice president, Dr. Bawumia, is likely to carry the day. Professor Mike Okwe is the chairman of the elections committee. He's going to cast his ballot. After he's done that, we will talk to him. We're seeing signals that the president of the land, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is likely to make his way into the voting arena of the party headquarters. So there we have it. The president of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, arriving at the NPP national headquarters to cast his ballot. And so there we have him, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, coming to cast his ballot at the party headquarters. He's been accused by some of the aspirants of supporting the candidature of His Excellency Dr. Bawumia. He has denied those rumors and that he has no hand in declaring support for His Excellency Dr. Bawumia, who has been his running mate since 2008, when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, had interest in becoming president of the Republic of Ghana. So you have in your shots Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo coming to cast his vote. When he's done, we will try and speak to him and get his views on how the process has been so far, who he is supporting, and maybe if he's able to tell us who he voted for in this particular contest. So we are here at the NPP headquarters. Honorable Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, was here in the morning to cast a ballot. We've seen Mark Okreku-Mante also come here to cast his ballot. We spoke to the chairman of the NPP UK branch, who has also cast his ballot at this special polling center, which is for members of the diaspora, the National Executive Council, the some special persons who have special assignments in this particular elections have been allowed to vote at this particular polling station at the NPP headquarters. In all, some 463 persons are on the roll who are expected to cast their ballot here at the NPP headquarters. So let's wait for the president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as he cast his ballot, and then we'll bring you those pictures. We're trying hard to have access to the inner perimeters, but there has been very tight security, which ensures that not so many people are in the inner perimeters where the president is voting. So we are still here at the party headquarters. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is coming to cast his ballot any moment from now. He's done that already, and so we'll try and get some reactions from him. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who has been president of the Republic from January 7, 2017. He's in the final leg of his second term. Right. Boss. But just take your time. Oh, Charlie. Take your time now. What's who? They enter me to make a
President, the whole country. You are the father of the nation. Then I catch the whole country. The outcome of the election and so I was my NPP party in there. Any outcome will be okay for you, Mr. President. Thank you very much for your time.
This interview here today.
Mr. President! The President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, who has cast his ballot. So let me quickly speak to Edward. So Edward, we've seen the President cast his ballot, even though we didn't really hear much of what you said. What do you make of the process so far? The Vice President himself has come to vote. I think he's in the building.
He's still here, and the President, as you know, has exercised franchise, and he's living at the moment, and we've seen the Finance Minister also come to do same, and then the Chief of Staff all are here. So basically, you can see that the topmost guys have now come here to exercise their franchise, and we hope that this, from now on, is going to be a bit lull. It's not going to be as active as we've seen, because this is more or less the highlight of the day. And so hopefully within the next 1 or 2 hours we should be through, and then we have to move to Electoral Commission for the collation of the results. But so far it's been cool. We've seen the Minister for Justice and Attorney General Yeboah Adam. Maybe we can reach out to him and engage him as well. So let's get there and reach out to him.
All right, let's try and speak to Mr. Godfred Yeboah Adame, who has also come to cast his ballot here at the NPP headquarters.
There's been conversations about some other party members who are saying that none of the 4 candidates can match up the powers of the former president, John Dramani Mahama. Do you think your candidates that you've presented will be able to stand firm to compete John Dramani Mahama and any other?
Well, I'm not sure of anything new that the former president is bringing. Incidentally, we were on the same flight yesterday from London. We got on the flight to him. I looked at him and I said, there's nothing new that he's bringing. You can see the same old tired John Mahama. But as far as I'm concerned, the candidate that we will elect today has the necessary drive and energy to beat John Mahama in a very sounding way.
The agreements the 4 aspirants signed 2 days ago, what does it mean legally? Maybe in the party's contest.
Well, it is a memorandum of understanding. It is one. Follow. Oh. Charlie. So it is.
As we are going to talk.
Oh, please, I'm coming. Please, boss.
Right, so you can just.
So I'm saying, yes, this is one that I expect the candidates to be bound by. It's a memorandum of understanding, of course, reached among persons who really mean well for the party.
Does it have any legal interpretation?
Legally, constitutionally, you can imagine that yes, the party a person has the freedom of expression, and within that confines the freedom of expression, and all the person can decide to do anything at all. But I'm saying that people who really hold dear the true values of the party and all, having executed this memorandum of understanding, I expect them to follow through with it.
Thank you very much. That was Godfred Yeboah Adame, Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Let's also try and speak to the Chief of Staff.
Adom mebeka me say me pe candidate sebi akwala opanyino otumi ene ne di nsawoso me pe candidate nim se adwuma no ogitum se na ban no a NPP aban no a muma ye fie nwotwe no ogitum se aban na yebi abana senyuma paase ti me pe candidate obetua nana adodankwa akufu ado
eno ne Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia na
Dr. Bawumia qualifies in this discussion wona me bisa wo so wo Ghana ana wo Ghana edie e wo se wo asusu utumi ehunu baby ameko ai si me da mo ase ba mumbo obia dibia ababia mumbo ntungu muntwen mayem pejano wo ayi Now me, my focus is to get a good flag bearer who will break the 8. Enunti mesra mo say makasa no media baby ye. Ni anya me peno ebebem anadwi.
So that's the Chief of Staff, Honorable Frema Opare there, who is very much confident that the best candidate will win. There are rumors that she's likely to be the running mate to His Excellency or whoever wins this particular contest. She said she's not heard any of those, and so we should disregard any rumors that suggest that she will be the running mate to anyone who wins this particular election. Let's speak to Hakma Usuajiman. She's a chairman of the Council of Elders of the NPP.
You don't grow. You don't grow at all.
Yes. So far, the monitoring that we have been monitoring, everything has been okay. And we are one and the same people from the same stables. There's no way we'll be eating ourselves, falling over ourselves. We are going to do this transparently, honestly, and to make sure that at the end of the day, everybody is satisfied with what the results are. That's the very important thing. And once this is the nature of elections, and after that, we all have to come together and fight the battle for the next election in December 2024. Sorry?
First special election, super delegates.
Yes.
It didn't look like one would even opt out afterwards. Everything was okay.
Well, it's very difficult to predict the future. And human nature is very different. So it did happen, but that's not the end of the world for us at all. For us, it's a minuscule irritation, if you like, of what happened. And I believe we have had it before. We have overrode all these difficulties, and we are going to do that. This party was born out of commitment of people who are dedicated to lose their life for it. And we are not going to sacrifice or compromise it in any way. What we have to do, we will do, and that one. Believe you me, we would work hard, and come December 2024, we shall be raising the hands of our colleague, Member of Parliament, as your new president. Sorry? Oh, campaigns are always like that, whichever country you look. And I think I know the world quite a bit. Campaigns always have difficulties here and there, but we smooth over it. That is human nature. That's human nature. The nature's plan, there will be difficulties. We'll overcome them. If you fall,
it doesn't matter. But how you get up is what's important. And now we are going to make sure we do the right
Even a
thing.
tough race ahead of 2024 general election. From now, I'm a candidate. A tough race. I'm going to break 8.
Well, once we finish this exercise this evening, we will be able to put things together and go on the course that we have been, which have charted the course for us for 4 terms, and then go into the 6th term. Should be okay.
2 days ago, you called for unity in the party. Do you feel there are cracks?
Well, I think everybody have accepted the fact that there is need for unity, and we would have unity. Because without unity, there's no organization. And so that one is not compromised. There's no compromise on that issue. We are going to be together as one team and work together.
Delegates telling us who they voted for after
Sorry?
the process. What do you make of delegates telling us who they voted for after they voted?
It's not important. I don't think they should be doing that, but this is one of those things that we do. It's not. It's against the rules, and let's see. The results will come, and that will.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hakman Osu Ajiman is the chairman of the Council of Elders of the party. We are still here at the NPP headquarters. My senior colleague, Edward Nyako.
So, Maurice, let's move to Professor Ameya Kumfi as well.
He was the Minister of Education under the Eswa Akufo administration.
Some aspects of leadership. And so going in there, that's what I have in mind. And the 4 are all gentlemen of the party.
You mean the 4, or one of them can be the candidate, can be the presidential candidate of the NPP?
One of them will have to be. Oh, sure. I mean, we don't have problems with that. It's the crucial thing is for us to get our house in order. And this is why I keep hammering on reconciliation. Once we get that, we all come together.
So you are afraid of disunity ahead of 2024?
No.
Is that disunity?
I'm not afraid, but there's something that you have to be concerned about. You see, going through elections is not a joke. I've been there. And you spend so much time, money, and so losing is never palatable. And this is why it takes time, patience, to get the person to come back in. He may have 1 or 2 issues with the election itself, and these will have to be addressed. You have to make them feel happy.
So is there disunity, as he asked?
If there is unity, we don't
No,
have.
is there
disunity
in the
No,
party?
no.
Yes
At the
or
moment, no signs. No signs.
But I mean, you are talking about breaking the 8. The economy is in shambles. How confident are you that you can break the 8 in spite of the state of the economy?
People need assurance. People need to see signs that efforts are being made at getting the economy back on its feet.
Are the efforts being made?
Of course. You know it. I know it. Post IMF. If you get the reports that are coming out, clearly the economy is back on it.
That's because the IMF is in the seat.
That's
because the IMF is a driving seat.
The IMF, they don't lie. You know it. They speak with facts. And if the signs are that the economy is gradually getting back, that's what we are going to work
What
with.
he means to say is that it's because the IMF is the one managing, is the one managing the economy now. So things will definitely
You think
be
they're
okay.
going to lie to you? What is the use of lying to you?
So you don't disagree the IMF is the one managing the economy now?
They are helping us manage the economy. That is by definition. If IMF comes to support you, it means they are assisting you to run the economy.
What do you make of Ghana's current education system? Your government says they've invested in education more than any other government.
The signs are clear that we are making a lot of progress. And I'm saying this because I've had the experience of running that ministry. We've made a lot of progress. But you see, look at it statistically. The numbers have jumped dramatically. And therefore, there may be lapses here and there in managing that kind of population. But in some, I think we've made progress. With the expansion in the area that we want to cover, We now have STEM freshly introduced. And therefore, let's look for products that are going to be more useful to the economy.
What do you make of free SHS? The finance minister has said that, why do you make me pay, or why do you exempt me from paying fees for my children, even though I can pay? So
that's an area that will be looked at.
What do you make
No,
of
that's an area that will be looked at. But you see, when you say it is free, it should be free for all citizens. And that's why initially you have to cover everybody. If those exemptions are going to be made, they should be voluntary and through a declaration that you want to take care of your kid. If that is done, and we all agree with that, then you're not going to have somebody go to court because Mr. X, Madam Y's child is not being catered for.
So will you suggest we introduce that component of the free SHS?
It will be looked at. I think so. Let him go on.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, and so that was Professor Ameyo Ekomfi, former Minister of Education under the Kufuor administration, sharing his thoughts on the Ghanaian economy and Ghana's education architecture as well. Edward.
Yes, that is the former Minister of Education, Professor Ameyo Ekomfi, and also was once also in charge of railways as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. But by and large, we've seen the finance minister finish an excise franchise, and it's coming out. So we can take a picture of that. See the finance minister coming out after his excise franchise.
I think I spoke to him not too long ago. I mean, if you look at how the whole place has become very jammed.
By and large, we've seen all the, in quote, the big shots coming to cast their vote. We've seen we've interviewed the Minister for Justice, but I hear the ballot papers that were sent here were around 500, and the Electoral Commission said they don't think that all the 500 people will be able to come here because some have traveled, according to him.
Very, very busy.
Busy doing the other things, so they will not be able to. But so far, it's almost around 11, 19, and according to them, more than 50% have done what is supposed to be done, the needful, and so they are still hoping that the rest will stream in and come to excite their friends.
It looks like time is not flying at all. It's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, but you know, interesting, if you look at the super delegate, it looks as if that was more vibrant than this one. But now the momentum picked up when the vice president came and the president, the chief of staff. So maybe as time goes on, but by and large, because also people are voting across the country, so you don't get people concentrated at one place. That's why the momentum and the atmosphere is not as what we witnessed during the super delegates conference.
So from here, we'll be moving to the coalition center. That would be around 5 p.m.
Exactly, to look at what is transpiring there, because the Electoral Commission said they will have a strong room there, and that is where they're going to collect all the votes and do their announcement afterwards. So we'll be in the strong room, and we'll promise our viewers that we'll be in the strong room.
The party also has I think they also have a coalition
exactly,
center.
they have a coalition center here, and they are also doing what is supposed to be done. So whatever is going on, they're going to get same here, and then they will tend to...
Thank you for those details, Morris and Edward Nyako from the NPP headquarters, where voting is currently ongoing as well. You're watching our live coverage of the NPP primaries, who wins the flag bearership race. Events are unfolding in the central region, and our correspondent Kingsley Nanabwedo is standing by to give us some details. Kingsley, thank you for making time. Are you still at that Abrodunkwa constituency, or have you moved on? And what is happening? Why are we hearing these reports of confusion?
Well, thank you very much, Thelma. As I speak with you, I have moved away from, that's Abrodunkwa. Currently, I am back to Ascent Central. That is Honorable Kennedy Ejapon's constituency. Here, 511 delegates are expected to vote here. A number of them have cast their vote so far, and many of them behind, many of them in front of me, as you can see. The voting is still ongoing. But when I got here for the second time, there has been many issues. Most of them are protesting, and one has to do with the fact that they have not been given any TNT. of course, by Honorable Vice President, that is Mahamudu Bawumia, and I was asking them, is it the case that the Vice President or any or all the aspirants need to give them a TNT? But they told me that no, that should not be the case. But their understanding is that all the aspirants are giving them some stipends or TNT so that they will be able to move about and come and exercise their franchise. But Honorable Ken had already given them, and they believe that Honorable Ken gave every delegate across the country. But Honorable Bawumia, or the Vice President, has refused to give the delegates at Asin Central their TNT. And they think that it is as a result of the fact that he believes all the delegates here at Asin Central are going to vote for Honorable candidate Japan. And that is the reason why he's not giving them their TNT. And they are here anxiously and patiently waiting for that TNT because they have gotten an information that their counterpart at Asin South and Asin North and across the region have all received 400 each from the Vice President. So how come Asin Central alone? Does it mean that should he win, is he not coming to need them to, of course, lead them to do the campaign around here? That has been their major concern. Let me talk to them themselves so that they tell us what their concerns are. One is joining me. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How is the morning?
Oh, well,
you are welcome to GTV.
Oh, yes. In fact, I'm very grateful. In fact, it is quite unfortunate.
Tell us your name.
I am Samuel Ankuma. I'm a police station chairman, Showman 2A. And then I'm also double to be a communicator for the party, this particular same Asin Central Conference. This morning, we have highly anticipated this particular day for some time. And it is quite very intriguing when it gets to this particular period like this. So indeed, as the party called on us to come and then exercise our franchise with respect to the portfolio that we have in our respective polling station executive, we need to indeed heed to that particular call. We, in fact, humbly did that this particular morning we came. When we came, in fact, the way we have been welcomed by our constituency is so nice. But unfortunately, there's one particular development that we need to talk about, and that is it. And that is that, in fact, when we came, we have been told that we are supposed to go through that particular rules that indeed the national has indeed set for us, and we have gone through that particular rules. And interestingly, looking at this particular constituency, people are coming from a Wisem, people are coming from Asamai, and in fact, if we are to check the kilometers of road from a Wisem to this particular place, in fact, it is way so long. And we came. Honorable Ken indeed has done the needful. And what he did, he made sure that at least every delegate will get something.
How much did Honorable Ken give?
Honorable Ken gave 300 Ghana cedis token for TNT. And then the party, we are also learning that the party, national party, gave 50 Ghana cedis as a top-up. That they are giving to every delegate. And that was the money that Honorable Ken gave. And interestingly, Honorable Ken is the member of parliament for this particular constituency, and he has replicated the same gesture across the entire country. What is most unfortunate this morning here is that our vice president, who happens to be the leader, the second gentleman of the land, of which we, the party grassroots, are directly working in consonance with, has unfortunately refused to give us a token. That token that is going to indeed transport our brothers who are far from this particular place, so that they can see the mobility will also be nice. In fact, we have not gotten anything of that sort. And we are saying that, in fact, this particular place, in fact, belongs to our member of parliament. We are indeed going to indeed ensure.
But you have already told us that the party made arrangement of 50 cedis each for your TNT. Was that not enough? Were you to get anything else from all the aspirants?
You see, the 50 cedis we are talking about, from when we sent to this place, it's almost 120 Ghana cedis just in. And out to now, we are supposed to add the money close to 300 Ghana cedis. And that is the equivalent that Honorable Ken gave us. So if indeed our vice president, who indeed happens to be the second gentleman of the land, has blatantly refused to give us a token to transport our brothers and sisters, those that are lactating mothers, those have to abandon their family and then come to this particular place to come and exercise their franchise. If it's not out of love that we have for our party, we will not do that. So why we are asking that? Why? Is it because this particular place belongs to our member of parliament?
But the elections are just the midway. We have about 2 hours to go. Probably you will get it, or you have indication that you are not going to get it.
Some have already left. Once we are talking, those people that we are talking, some came to sleep. Looking at where they are coming from, they come to sleep past the night. They have to leave because if they don't leave, they will not even get to their place. They have left. So these people, are you going to say are going to do them mobile what do you call it?
All right. So that is a major concern here. One other person also wants to talk to us. Tell us your name, and now that you have not received it, then Panama person way.
From is Stephen Kokubuafu. Do not from 50-50. Now, you're here to see and say, Honorable Vice President. The ODI delegates, no, because as a central, office yanka NPP, and as a NPP for, and a national, as a central, dear free MPP Moana, because the new man, Omoyano, who to be Maobisika, now we are, or the obedient money be. Transportation. And yes, honorable me, I catch you. I did 2016 year campaign. Come on, me no not to tell you. We'll see. Yeah, Bapawa, Ubacha police station, and it's consulted executive, Macheka, 2016 Abapim, the Mabadia Mamofraya, Mancheka, yes, and the Scana Gamodi Bana, yes, Scana, my promise, and a Manchiano, and then so on. Was just why you assistant of
Senior, were you promised any money by any aspirants?
This is not something that we will be asking for. It is something which is due us. Because we are here because of these aspirants. You understand? Probably we should be asking the same question that apart from Asen Central, which other constituency did Baumia not give a stipend to them? That is the most important thing. And we are calling on whoever that is frontiering the Baumia campaign. We should be asking that question. Is there any other constituency apart from Asen Central where the next president hails from that they didn't give anything to? Probably that one will be satisfied with any kind of excuse that they bring up. But for now, what we are meant to know is that we have been denied the little token of probably TNT or water simply because Kennedy Japan hails from this constituency and is a member of parliament for this constituency. It is a clear indication that they are actually taking us away from the whole process because they don't want us Central to be part of it. We are now being counted as if we are aliens in the party. And we are so much worried. Probably for me personally, I'm so sad. Well, this is the first time I'm going to experience something like this. Yeah, I just wanted to speak for myself, but the whole delegation, we are. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so basically, the voting is still ongoing here. If you can see behind me, there are a lot of security people in there, and the voting is also taking place in there. Apart from this.
So we just got reports from our Central Regional Correspondent, Kingsley Nanabuedu, reporting to us from Asin Central this time. My colleagues, George and Winifred, are at the table. Can we begin to unpack some of the things we've heard from Kingsley's report today? The controversy of transportation, whether it's TNT, whether it's a stipend, to ferry people from one part of the central region to the polling center is what has led to this brawl. And we are hearing 300 cedis from the camp of Honorable Kennedy Japan to delegates. I'm wondering if he did give 300 cedis to every delegate. How many people are in the Asin Central? Did that extend to all the 203,000 plus delegates across the country? And did the Vice President give some people some stipend, some TNT, and did not give Asin Central, as the voters there are telling us?
It's a feeling of entitlement for me. How he is boldly, accusing him of not giving him money. Is he supposed to give him money to go and vote? This brings to fact what we keep saying, that money keeps exchanging hands in this activity. And that is why we are having... Thelma, before we do that, let's go to Yaya. Yaya is in Adenta constituency. Yaya, good morning. Thank you so much. Voting has started in almost all the polling stations across the country. I believe same in Adenta. Tell us what is happening, Yaya.
All right. So I am at Adenta right now to emphasize Victory Presby Church, Center A and B. 778 people or delegates are expected to vote here. But as at 10:30, 332 have cast their vote. And according to the presiding officer, Janet Nakrote, she said that nothing untoward had happened. Everything is moving on smoothly. When I went to Center B of the same Adenta Victory Presby Church, I'm told over 766 delegates plus proxies are supposed to vote here. But as at 10:34, 283 delegates cast their vote. Before I got to the Adenta municipality, I went to Lankwantalan Social Welfare Center A and B. Over there too, voting was going on smoothly. At Center A, 794 people are expected to vote by 2. And 120 had voted at 9 at the time. And at Center B of Lankwantalan Social Welfare, over there too, because they were expecting 774 delegates to vote. But when we got there, only 320 had voted at the time. So what I observed over the WO is that before any delegate could vote, you are checked whether you are carrying a weapon or two. If you are having anything that is not allowed in the voting box, you are sent back. So security is very big, and I'm impressed with that. That's what I can report.
Yeah. They are scanned whether they have anything on them before they are allowed into the center. But we also know that as part of the guidelines, they are not supposed to take their phones into the arena where they are voting. Is that being observed where you are?
Yes, please. Yes, before you go in there, you are not supposed to carry anything at all. So I see people giving their phones and everything that they are holding in their pockets to their colleagues before they go inside the box to vote.
Security presence, how is it going?
Very, very smoothly. In fact, the environment is very calm and everybody is going about their duty. They are just, when you cast your vote, they just drive away or walk away. Nothing untoward has happened here.
Are all the aspirants being, represented by agents? Do you see their agents at post?
Yes. Every aspirant has an agent in there watching keenly what exactly is going on. And so we spoke to the police around them and they said nothing has happened. Everybody is calm. Whenever anybody had a concern, they talk to them and they are on and on till 2. Hopefully, every delegate will be able to vote before the time.
Reporting that everything is calm. There is no situation in the Adenta. And Right. Thank you so much, Yaya. We'll be connecting with you again as and when you have anything to report. Yaya Lawe is our correspondent, and she is in the Medina Adenta environs, the municipalities, and Greater Accra has 39,134 delegates who are supposed to cast their ballots and help us decide who will win the flag bearership race of the new patriotic party. Overall, we have 203,439 delegates who are expected to cast their ballot. Earlier, we went to the party's headquarters, where also we have a number of 463 delegates who are expected to cast their ballots, making up of Council of Elders, who are 15, patrons, who are 15, external branches, 324, ministers, 7, deputy ministers, 5, National Council of Elders, 15, National Council, National Executive, 24, directors of the National Secretariat, 9, chairman of the National Council Committees, 2, past national officers, 38, and the wings, who are 9. Already we can report confidently that the President Nana Akufo-Addo has cast his ballot. We've also seen Dr. Bawumia cast his ballot. We've also gone to the central region where we connected, and then also we gave you a playback of Kennedy Japan, who also went in there to cast his ballot. We are yet to connect with Mr. Adainimo to also give you that. We are giving a fair and level coverage to all the aspirants.
Right.
We're talking about the money issue.
I was talking about the money issue, and I was asking some questions. So the presumption from Central Region is that, as in Central specifically, some monies were sent as TNT as stipend.
Yes.
And other people got it in other constituencies, but as in Central did not, presumably sent from the camp of Dr. Bawumia. And you asked the question, Winifred, before we went to that report, that do they have to, do the delegates have to be given money? They said the national NPP, the party,
gave them
sent
50
cedis.
Yes.
And then the candidate, Japan, gave them 300.
Making 350.
So 350. Can we calculate if every
if you calculate, I mean, I did not want to go through that hassle to go and calculate how much they are
gives
giving.
You an idea of how much a candidate on today, on election day, has spent to make sure that the delegates get to the polling center to cast their vote.
And that is why I'm saying that it gives credence to the fact that every time we have, be it a national election, be it a constituency election, money keeps changing hands, influencing the activity, the political process. And that is something that, as a country, we have to divert from.
Okay, let's hear George's thoughts on this.
If you follow the elections in this country for some time, that has been the nature of our politics.
Of course.
Whether we like it or not, we always exchange certain things to get people to vote for certain candidates as and when. If that's going to change, I have my doubts whether that will ever change. It will only change when certain dynamics of governance itself in the country actually changes. But if that doesn't change, it's not going to change itself.
I think
because if delegates actually have a sense of entitlement, because to them they think that's when they can make money.
And that's why they say there is a cocoa season.
That's when they can make their money.
When is there for elections?
And the other side of the conversation too is that let's call a spade a spade. Our style of governance, our style of politics, our style of democracy in Africa is very expensive. And this is all part of the expenses. Is it right? No, it's not right. Can something be done about it? Yes, but not now.
Now, why won't the candidate, when eventually he wins, decide to recoup all the resources that he has put in?
Because, and I'm saying the simple mathematics, and everyone...
You are interested in the money?
Yes.
It's over 70 million Ghana cedis.
It's chicken change for some of them.
70 million.
That's a lot of money.
But it's chicken change for some of them.
I'm tempted to ask a certain question, but should I?
Ask.
Should I?
Ask.
Should I?
You can ask the question, but will you get an answer?
I'm not going to get an answer to that. Over 70 million, right? That's the 300 Ghana cedis.
So let's make the presumption.
Yes.
Assuming that a candidate gave every delegate, or let's say 203,000. Let's even remove the 439.
Yes.
Assuming that each of these 203,000 delegates got 300 Ghana cedis. What's the calculation? So isn't it 60
over 60 million Ghana cedis?
900,000.
This is by far how much we've even heard that delegates have been given.
So the one that is under the cap.
Yes.
So now my question. How much do we need to open the Kolebu Dialysis Center?
I can't tell.
We need just 4 million.
So the health minister
has
been invited to Parliament to answer some questions. So perhaps this will be one of the questions that he could answer.
If we are prepared to spend this amount of money to get people to vote for us, and we are not prepared to spend that same amount of money to get certain things to operate very well,
and it cuts across board.
I mean,
the political divide.
That raises a lot of questions
for me, the conversation
country,
is about political party financing, and in other countries we see a properly laid structure of receiving financing and the use of those funds. Do we have same in Ghana? Anytime the topic comes up, there is always, different answers to the questions. But is it time for us to say, let us know, bring your books. Where are these monies coming from? And how are you spending? Who are you say that people believe in your vision. Yes.
Okay.
Who donated what to you? And how did you spend it? Because the candidate, Japan, is an astute businessman. And so perhaps he's able to finance. The whispers are that a candidate gave 400 Ghana cedis to every delegate. So for that candidate who allegedly gave 400,000, we are talking even more than this 60 million that we are talking about. Okay. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. We're expecting everything to come to an end at 2 this afternoon. Hopefully. And if you go to the regulations for this particular exercise for the New Patriotic Party, section 46 talks about counting and declaration of results. So when everything is said and done, ballots will be counted and results announced immediately after the close of polls at each voting center. The presiding officer at the voting center will actually announce the voting center results and a copy of the results forwarded to the Presidential Election Committee. And then all agents shall sign the declaration form. Failure of an agent to sign the results will not invalidate the announcements by the presiding officer. And then the presiding officer at the voting center shall transmit the constituency results to the Electoral Commission's headquarters for collation.
Did you say failure will not?
Yes. It will not invalidate.
Will not invalidate.
So it will still stand.
Whether you have an agent there or not.
No, whether your agent signs, can we call it the pink sheet or not, the result would still be.
Yes, I'm asking because
valid.
I think when we spoke to Swala or one of them, he told us that it was only Dr. Baumia and Kennedy that had.
Who had
agents. Yes. So it doesn't matter whether you have an agent there or not. The result stands.
Yes.
It holds.
Yeah, it holds. All right.
Okay.
So after that exercise that is sent to the Electoral Commission's headquarters for collation, now the results of the presidential elections from each constituency shall be collated first at the Electoral Commission's regional head office. Subsequently, we'll have two, each contestant with will either be represented by himself or his accredited agents. There's two of those agents at the coalition center at the EC headquarters. And then after the coalition, the Electoral Commission shall officially declare the results at the NPP headquarters, Asalam Down and Accra. And all contestants are actually invited to be part of the party, to be at the party head office for that particular purpose. And the returning officer and one of the contestants' agents at the coalition center will jointly sign that particular result. So this is what's really going to happen after 2 this afternoon.
George, our colleague, Efia Owusu Amriku, is joining us from Amasaman. Hello, Efia.
Hello, really great.
Yes. How are you doing there?
I'm very well here.
Great. Tell us what is happening. Voting has started, I presume.
Yeah, voting started around 7:05.
Okay. And what has been happening?
Well, the process has been so far. In the morning, the queue was very long, but now it is reduced as the day goes by.
Are you able to tell us?
Nothing untoward has happened here. Delegates are casting their ballots in a very peaceful manner. Police presence here, I must say, heavy. About 120 police personnel have been deployed to their Amasaman constituency, which is having about 17 electoral areas and then 299 polling stations. So it tells you the number of people who are expected to cast their ballot here. They are expecting about 1,526 people to cast their ballot here at Amasaman constituency.
And so far, every one of the delegates have found their names on a list?
Yes. So far, those who have voted, everybody had their names here. And when I verified with the EC official, everybody's name is in the list. So there will be no cause to alarm.
If you are from the footages running on the screen, I can see that people are being allowed with their phones into the inner perimeter where the voting is happening. Is that a case?
In fact, people have their phones with them, but before you get into the ballot box, it is taken away from you by the military and the police personnel. So you are not allowed to be inside the ballot box where you actually cast your vote. As we all know, post cancer, whoever you are voting for, and that is why the police is very strict on you. So your phone will be taken away from you. When you cast your ballot, then you can go back to pick your phone.
Right. And so where you are, is it only one center? Or it's split into two? Can you repeat what you said?
There are 2 centers here, actually.
Okay, all right. And you can report that is actually calm. There's not been any issue. Security
Not
presence
at
has
all.
been
Very calm here.
okay. If yeah,
The
we'll get
police presence is heavy, and so everything is going according to plan.
right. If yeah, thank you so much, and we'll get back
You're
to you
welcome.
again when you have all others to report. Efia Owuswa Rekon is at Amasaman, and she is a correspondent on the ground. She is our ear and our eyes there, and when she has anything else to report, she will get back to us. This is the NPP's flag bearership race to decide who will join Mr. Edubuani, who will join Mr. Kufuor, and who will join President Akufo-Addo on their list of presidential candidates. George.
All right, it's been our coverage so far. We started this at 8 and we've been sailing through. We're going to be with you from now till everything is said and done. We're going to go for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with other aspects of our coverage for you. My name is George. I've been here with Thelma and then Winifred. At least I'm in the middle sandwich.
We are sandwiching you.
We'll be right back.
Empowerment.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. on GTV. It's our coverage of the New Patriotic Party's presidential primaries that has been on since 7 this morning, and we're gradually moving to midday, and everything in terms of the voting is expected to come to an end at 2 this afternoon, where collation and counting will start. And then at the end of the day, we'll get to know exactly who is going to lead the New Patriotic Party into elections 2024. I have our guest seated here. We're going to actually move into some bit of another leg of the conversation. So I have my far left is Dr. Fred Awar. Dr. Fred Awar is a lecturer at the University of Professional Studies, Accra. Doc, good morning to you.
Good morning, George.
I hope you're good.
Very fine.
All right, thank you very much for joining. It's been a while. I mean,
true.
Yes, okay, good to see you.
Good to see you.
And then next to him, which is just my immediate left, is Loratu Musa Saka. She's a member of the NPP communication team. Loratu, good morning to you.
Good morning, George.
I hope you're good.
I'm good.
All right, and thank you very much for joining us. Let's join Miriam, who picked some reports for us. Miriam, good morning, actually, to you.
Good morning, George.
All right, tell us where you're located and what you can share with us this morning.
Well, I'm currently at Sunnyside International School, which is in the Okankwe North constituency. Voting started here at exactly 7 a.m. There hasn't been any challenges. And then the number of delegates that were expected to vote are 848. But so far, 400 have cast their ballots. And according to the EC, presiding officer for the EC, he says that he's hopeful that by 2 o'clock, all the delegates would have been able to cast their ballots. We are on our way and we'll move to the Okankwe South constituency. So whatever we get, we'll let you have that information. But there's one interesting thing that we came across. We realized that security here was very tight, and all the delegates had to give out their phones and their bags to security before they go to cast their ballots. When we speak to the police officer in charge, he said that they didn't want anybody taking pictures of the ballots that they had cast to go and show to the candidates and take money from them. So the information came from the NPP headquarters that this was what they were supposed to do before they are allowed to go and cast their ballots. So far, it hasn't been any challenges. It's been incident-free and it's moving on so smoothly.
Okay, and what's the rate at which the queue is moving? Are we sure that by close of day at 2 o'clock, everybody possibly will actually get the opportunity to cast his or her ballot?
Yes, it's almost midday, and half of the number has already gone through the process, and it's moving steadily. It's not at a slow pace, so hopefully they will be done by 2 o'clock.
Okay, all right. Miriam, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Miriam Boateng reaching us over from Okankwe North. She'll be heading to South and then that of Central too, and we'll pick reports from her when she gets to those locations. But let's get back to the studio here and start interacting with our guests. Dr. Awa, let's briefly, what do you make of what has happened so far? At least it's already midday, so from 7 to midday, what do you make of it?
Well, I think that there's some level of growth and development in the New Patriotic Party from the previous election to this one. What I do see is that the reportedness of chaos that happened in the previous election.
Super delegates.
Absolutely. Yeah. We haven't seen it now. And that is a good determinant of a growing democracy. For instance, we have seen that no one is allowed to get into the polls with his camera so that you don't take footages. We have seen enhanced security. And all of that are pointers to the fact that some learning has been done from the previous election. And I think that other political parties can learn from same. National electioneering should also be geared towards ensuring that there will be violence-free incidences. This we have seen, and I think that we should be applauding the NPP.
I think you should be proud.
Oh, definitely. And before, let me say, good afternoon already. Good afternoon to the NPP family. Good afternoon to you, Doc. George, it's good to be here again. I mean, we've said this times without number. NPP is the party of choice.
Okay.
And we've had cause to let the country know that we learn from our experiences. We build on what you learn. We had some unfortunate incidents, and we committed to making sure that those things don't happen when we have the bigger numbers, because there were some that were actually anticipating that if only 1,000+ people voted and we had such an incident, then what will happen when the over 200,000 people go to vote? And it's obvious, and it confirms what we said, that we're a party, we're a decent party, we're a party that learns from its records. We're a democratic party. Sometimes people take their freedom too far, but we all know that there's responsibility when there's your privilege comes with responsibility, and we are a party of rules and regulations, and we are all, according to our membership rules, bound by the constitution of the party. So if you remember, on the 26th of August, when we had the Super Delegates Conference, we kept on referring to the constitution, and that is what has guided us till today. And at least, I mean, Doc and other Ghanaians are seeing that the NPP is the party of choice and an organized party. And it also affirms the fact that we keep making, that with all the challenges we are facing, with all the things that we are going through, it's the NPP that can really put this country where it ought to be.
Okay, all right. I'm sure that will be a conversation for another day after this entire exercise is
Oh,
said.
definitely.
Yes, all right.
Definitely.
We'll be going through all the candidates and getting you their profiles. But Lawrence, I'm going to start this stretch with you. Looking at what happened from the 26th of August, where, well, actually when nominations were open and all that, then the 26th, I remember the super delegates, we had you here too.
Yes.
So this particular day, obviously there have been various events that has actually occurred. What do you make of the entire process so far that has gotten us to this stage, gotten the NPP to this particular stage?
If you ask me, it's just been like any other contest. I mean, even when it comes to we go for family meetings, there are heated arguments. When there's a position in the family, at least if we use royal families as an example, everybody in the family knows that this is the rightful person to occupy the stool or the skin, but people still throw in efforts to see if they can sway the family to their side. But at the end of the day, the person who rightfully owns the position takes it up. So it's the same thing that the NPP is going through. We are looking for a flag bearer.
But NPP is not like a royal family, is it?
Oh, I mean, I'm just using it as an example. You know, even with people from the same bloodline, the arguments. So you can imagine people from 16 regions, over 50 ethnic groups, or different families, different bloodlines coming together to form an association. You can imagine. But when you also juxtapose it to what happens on a daily basis, it's a contest. Everyone wants to come out as the candidate of choice. So they will try to convince delegates, they will try to bring out their achievements, what they've done for the party since they became members of the party and all that. So I think it's just been a normal contest. I mean, some of the things that came out were probably a bit too much. But be as it may, because the leadership of the party at the national level had a hold on this through the elections committee, it's been handled well, and everybody can see the results.
I mean, throughout the process, we've seen resignation, one. We've also had some people expressing their displeasure about the exercise. Boachejaku is an example of that. Are these things that the party will have to critically look at, I mean, after this entire exercise?
See, when it comes to some of these things, there's a constitution. There are sometimes decisions that have to be taken when there's a lacuna in the constitution to take certain decisions. There are constitutional bodies according to the party constitution. So anything that is affirmed by the National Council, because the National Council is the other authority that affirms the decisions and takes decisions for the well-being of the party, for the forward march of the party, when it's not easy to call a delegates conference to take decisions. And if you realize every decision that has been taken outside the national conference has been from the elections committee has been affirmed by the National Council. And just a few days ago, you had the National Council meet all 4 aspirants, and you've seen the videos and pictures. It was a joy to watch. I mean, these are people that everybody thinks they are neck to neck.
By making them to sign and not taking.
No, but what is wrong with that? There are rules and regulations that governs everything. And when you read our party constitution, every member, by virtue of opting to join the new patriotic party, you have committed to signing up for everything that will make the party stronger. There's been a lot of things. And definitely, like I said, the NPP learns from its lessons and builds from it. You talked about a resignation, an unfortunate one for that matter. But do we all throw our hands in the air and stop what we are doing? We've learned from it. There's been a lot of comments. And if you also realize, everything that is raised, the party quickly comes in to take care of it. I don't know if you've paid attention to it. As far as the National Council level. And that is what we mean when we say we're a democratic party and an organized party and the party of choice.
Okay, I'll come to the undertaking, but let me move to Dr. Awal here. Dr. Awal, I mean, the entire process from when nominations were open, 10 candidates moving in, subsequently pruned to 5, and then after the 5th, I mean, even before pruned to 5, it was actually 6 because there was a tie in there, and then came one person opting out, then the 5, then the resignation to this particular day. What do you make of the entire exercise so far?
Well, clearly so. Of all of those incidences, one major discourse that took over the media platforms was the fact that, okay, the opinion, of course, it's not established, that the party was skewing things in favor of His Excellency Bawumia. It remained a perception, and it does appear that the conversations today are pointers to some establishing it more from perception to facts. I say this based on a number of footages that I saw whilst waiting for my turn in here. We take Prince Sadat, who is the administrator of the youth wing. After casting his vote, he clearly made it open that they are waiting that Dr. Bawumia would win so that they would make progress. You can play back that footage. Now we go to Ken Oforiatta, who is the Minister of Finance. He started his conversation with an indication. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
He started his conversation with an indication that His Excellency Bawumia managed the economic management team very well. It would be expected that
there's some continuity.
Yeah, clearly so. Then we come to the Chief of Staff, Freema Opari, who is rumored would be the running mate. It's just a rumor.
But she also dispelled that.
Yeah, she did dispel that. She also went on the tangent of continuity. Now we go to Tema East. Then the DC of Tema East says that they are what? United. And they are going to vote unitedly. Now, from the perspective of anyone who has his head on his neck, clearly, the conversations would be united for or against who? Because the DCE is an integral part of the party structure. And if it is rumored that the party is working towards making His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the flag bearer, the indication would be that the unity would go in what? His favor. Now, we now go to Honorable Kennedy Ajapong's constituency. You see a clear kind of hidden protest from delegates. That it does appear that they are being kind of alienized in their own political party. Now, they take it from the perspective that it does appear that His Excellency Bawumia is giving tokens in other regions for transportation. But for them, they have not been what? given. And apart from the 50 cedis provision that the party made or the constituency made, his Honorable Kennedy Ajapong did make provisions of 300 Ghana cedis for each delegate. They never got that from. So I recall that when your official asked the person, the person who was making this narration, now, is it a statutory establishment? Is it something that the NPP endorses, that all of them in the region should be given such amounts from? He did say that they know that other regions are, yeah, absolutely. So I think that the conversation of rumor is gradually getting entrenched from being rumor, perhaps based on these evidences of the footages we had from the regions this month. So those are my initial conversations regarding these new trends that we are seeing today.
Okay, so you think the rumor that has been actually, I would say established, bro, but there's been some rooting based on those comments actually coming in there. All right, Laura, would you briefly respond to that?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, Doc is not a member of the party, and he's just picking whatever information is picking. But I'll start with a bit of continuity. Okay. I mean, for months now, you've heard us trumpet break the 8.
Yes.
And that is continuity, Doc. Breaking the 8, moving from one MPP government to another MPP government. That is continuity. Okay. With a bit about support, and I thought those comments.
So that continuity is not about supporting the vice president.
It's MPP continuing from after MPP.
So it's not about
what have we been saying? Have we said Dr. Baumia, or we've been saying breaking the 8? What have we been trumpeting? Breaking the 8. Breaking the 8 as what? The new patriotic party. I mean, as for having perceptions about someone being an establishment candidate, it won't end today, it won't end tomorrow. 2007, we had Mr. Alan Chermantin being perceived as the establishment candidate. Okay. If we even want to go to our compatriots in the NDC, they came out openly and said the current flag bearer is the presumptive candidate. So all those things come. It's all campaign strategies. Okay. I mean, nobody wants to be with a losing team. So if a team projects their candidates as the candidates to beat, it's all part of marketing a candidate. But when it comes to continuity, it's for us breaking the 8. And what's breaking the 8? Since 1992, every party that comes does 8 years. Yes. President Rollins did 8 years under the NDC. Professor Mills late, and former President John Mahama, between the two of them, did 8 under the NDC. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done 8 years, going to do 8 years under the NPP. So we want to break that 8. We want to break that jinx and continue with an NPP government. Okay. Right. When it comes to the comments that came from Asin Central, I think it's unfortunate. Why? It's unfortunate for delegates to come out openly like this and make such entitlement comments. They were supposed to keep quiet. The responsibility. Were they supposed to keep quiet? The responsibility of transporting delegates from their polling areas to the centralized polling center in their constituency is the sole prerogative of the party. Okay. And the party budgeted 50 cedis per person in every constituency. I would have been worried if they were complaining about not getting party funds. But all the monies that are being, figures that are being touted around are rumors. Okay. Because unlike our compatriots, where the presumptive candidate came out with a clear statement the night before the election that he was going to give every candidate, I don't think I've seen any statement from any of the 4 candidates within the MPP saying they are going to give any delegate a certain amount of money. So you don't believe the 300
and 400
Look, you're hearing? If I sit here and say I don't believe that no candidate is giving anybody money, for you to come out and say someone has promised everybody, where is the proof? Because I haven't seen any candidate come out and say, this is what I'm doing. But definitely, when candidates move around to visit constituencies, if for nothing at all, they're also transporting people to centers. Definitely, there'll be water, there'll be refreshments and all that. People will be giving TNT. That is within our political. Okay. Is this something we should continue doing? That is a conversation we must all have. But for them to come out and make such entitlement comments, I think must be discouraged. Especially, and for me, the sad bit is, these are youthful people. Your future is what is at stake now. You know. So if all you're thinking about is the 300 cities or the 400 cities you take today, rather than looking at a candidate, voting for a candidate that can make your future better, I think is unfortunate and must be discouraged. Then, when it comes to...
Just hold on for me. Let me go to Ayawaso North. We'll talk to Morris there. Also having Dr. I know you're not done yet, so I'll just come back to you. So let's talk to Morris, who is at Ayawaso North, to pick some reports from him. Morris, good afternoon to you, and let's hear you.
Ayawaso North constituency, specifically at the Mother and Child Basic School in Accra, Newtown. Much of the people here coming from the Zongo community, they've come to cast their ballots. We have 670 delegates who are expected to vote at this particular polling station. As at the last count, some 400 plus of them had voted already. As you can see in the background, they are queuing to take their turn to vote. They are voting on zonal basis. So as and when one particular zone is done voting, then the other will be allowed to also go in there to cast their ballots. Even though we see the numbers, we've spoken to some of the delegates who say the process has been very smooth thus far. Quickly, let's speak to one of the delegates who is a women organizer of one of the zones. Good afternoon. Welcome to GTV.
Yeah, two aba. Hey, flag barrier. Yeah, pay the obekita osununu. Yeah, ako break the 8 na maye. Inti ndeye yi nipa onu na esese on kita osununu maye. Na yem fan konko two aba no.
Now, so far no, sign a process no ako.
Process no wa na nka ye nimise ye ba. Ye be salai na ye tu we ba na wa salai na two aba no. We be two aba no ayu so nkofi obetena sa atwe say yen kai. But then send the process na ye no say omu yi zone to zone. Nti ama hai na ye tawi e bia kwatrofo aba. Nti obetwe say ma mo bi ni be ba beto ansa na onu so atu. Nti na ha no aye tawi sa no. Nka ye tu no lie say obi aba na wa kwhwe ni Peter na wa to a. Nka yen say but say no say ye betu ma mo bi wa entu ewie nu. E na kwatrofo no so adikan aba. But omu twe say ma mo bi fo no betu ewie. Nti ama ye process na ye long. Nti ama ndai na ye break akra.
But apart from that, maybe I boko so.
Oh, bibi I boko. Nsem bia nim se wu betu ama Lancash, we betu ama cool.
Lancash ni mo.
Canada Japan. Baumia any menu na akanu. Wa betu ama mu na cool wa because ye do ye hu ye nyina ye party ni ma. Nipa for na omu ba ni nyina ye do omu pa. Ye pe omu ye mpese party nu. Omumu baku be free mu ebe haye omumu baku free mu a ebe haye because ye be say ye ko ye nim nti ye ntimi yi nipa bi free mu na enye we bet eye den a nipa baku na e na obekita osono no nti ne mi meka kakra ni say ye mpanimfo no afiri na na akufo ado edi ba down ye pa omu cho omu nhwe party ni ye maye because usha obinimu de oma ye dada be ye afi na ye ba mi so anda mi bre e bia otena mi ba bi na be fra baria na minnim se wati ase nti ye pa omu cho se omu the unit ni start ya na a continue bet e koye tribalism ni way ebe haye
nti no why na usu se ye be wie na be flag bearer
oh de obe wi na flag bearer na clear ba umi abefa Baumia Canabo, Yetambe Frubio, Wawambe Fubia, and your wake tree.
Also bedding.
Abeba, Obefa.
No bedding, Mamma.
Obeya or no Bekita Osono. Obekita Osono, Naya de Co. Anna, who was Santirity? Na enkra de de na yebeka asantirity who na any na mo it obefa because ya your party no ya no buzia dankwa domo nti buzia ko mi se makati o se mi dankwa buzia mi family dankwa buzia but mi pese domo sumbedi me enkoye se ye enibiri for NPP for ye nya enibiri for ya do ye ho kama nti ba omia ka o samira ka o na bra ya nim say wan so na obefa
na o ka chere me say moba no ye mamo e lorry fare kakra
on be my TNT as say me say me to me storm and I only say November by this time kama GGB kakra nso me tum ti by all me so be my TNT
besa o besa
oh ya ya no fofofo ya no don komi o my 600 be is okay it's okay
kamo pe besa
nka pe 5,000 Ghana cedis na da low am obi no mo no that starting the business but former head into any locals 600 is okay
and a delegate na amu edu say amu didi pa
yan didi bia say o fa mami ka no kurantiro ube shia delegate bi kura na ne mpa boati ube shia delegate mi say no ye bue school ami hu ade esa say me akui mada na mi sa so me police station mo organizer ye bue school ebe ye onwanwa say obi o ye police station executive bekita ni ba dia bro so oni sika kura obetua lord fe ma akwala na akọ school nti mitimi ko tena ministry so we say mi ba na yedi no ko school ko fredua na makomoa akosesa na yedi na bankra se na ebe ya ma minu obetimi ahwe akwala na akọ school so what you say nti osu presec numuni schools na e wa atimata krages omunimi nti mi ko na ma sisa din no because me akui mother na mi di nkwala na aba na mi boa o man say na ebe ya akwala na betimi akọ school because on this car all the akwala na be ko Kumasi delegate for mami nka asemi say GTV a delegate omuni number 1 nipa omubre yebe didi omu yebe didi na tampoto nso loan nu bakra ye manu bi na delegate for ni bi nso ka ho aban nu koji loan nu di manu na odia o kodi ontua na mi de ya mi ni say e wo say delegate for no asankasa no NPP for ye di enim si form obi o ensese o ye delegate kura di ma NPP because ye party no ye party clear well because obi a ono pese obe ye ejuma di abo ani mai oso ye delegate obi a on tro ni di oso ye delegate men da masima mi kan ni na
yemre na so quickly usu den na obe kan
yo efem go jesuma me police chairman o kwa chua na abatu ya to no esika na yesi no ay NPP na NPP anya other party bia nti baba bia no I was say botata na chi no twega na yi yes baumia kele Japan on bada so say bia beka say bia na kasa anti obi a wono ma ya woni yema otumi kasa so kele kasa
so oya Ken supporter
nyame nchar me I am supporter yes dem kan say Kwame oyobi a oye playman okane kure ne kasa wo hwe busia kura ofie mpa wa wele ye baka asem yenye so do kaka baka no ne ya ji wanu ese bone
nti ususu se ye be pon no na we win ana
onyame boa awo so win ni na se we win ni po na se bia ba umia ba next stage no we se no asie na so nyame akase otumi change bibia me ne ye enti ne o ye bia no se mistake bi no ya pachao kase bi na ntwe ya yesere na mbom no obi odro se Ghana enye yie enkwa so no obi abira ansa na waye yie so wo hweta ma kufu anum omo bai omo bra pa kufu ado omo ye campaign
so we are still here at the Ayawaso North constituency. We're monitoring the process. You can see the numbers very much so anytime soon. The process should end here at the Ayawaso North constituency. We'll hand over to you in the studio whilst we continue the discussions here on the ground. So over to you in the studios. Enti, we are delegates. Who are zone bang?
Quattro. Midinde Dixon. More Quattro. Me police station. Silence Hotel B.
So why are you candidate?
With this one, we cannot just declare. We cannot just declare because Obiani secrets. Obiani vote any secrets. So when you go to the poll, you know whom you are going to give the listing to, right? But in the case, all the candidates, Obia Efata, so betimi win this mantle, especially Honorable Kennedy Japan, and then the His Excellency, what do you call it, Mahmoud Bawumia. All these two key are the key people who.
It looks like everybody is rooting for Dr. Bawumia.
Well, that is their choices. Me, I can't declare my destiny to, but it's their choices. I voted, you know. I voted. I know whom I voted for, right? So if someone has voted for so and so, fine. That is him or he. So I know whom I voted for. I can't declare it to you right here. Are you getting my point? So we are asking, or say the Obebe Biarano, or my NPP Kono, Yena Yajinutum, Yaboni Chidom, near year. Gangan to a campaign, I mean, Panu with me in power because we want to play the 8.
Any delegates back who Ekasai, not say delegates more bre. It looks like more a lot of issues. Ususu say affected party.
Majority of the grassroots. That's the reason why majority of the grassroots are going for what do you call Honorable Kennedy Japan because he is somebody that speaks for the grassroots. That is all. Among all the NPP MPs, ministers, what have you, you cannot single anyone with the exception of his Honorable Kennedy Japan. He's the man that speaks for the grassroots. That is all.
So you are rooting for Kennedy?
Actually, I have told you, my vote is my secret. So you got it well.
Listening to you looks like you are supporting Kennedy.
Perception.
No, I mean that's what you just said.
That is your perception.
Because you're a delegate and you think that he speaks.
All right, thank you very much. So that was Maurice there from Ayawaso North. It feels like home because that's actually my area and where the whole voting is taking place. I'm taking you to the Upper West region to talk to Swala Abdul Wahab. I understand that it looks like voting has come to an end there, although it's not the scheduled time for voting to end. It looks like the delegates there are done voting. Swala, good afternoon to you, and what can you share with us further? Hello, Swala. Swala, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. I understand voting has come to an end because the delegates are done voting, although it's not a scheduled time to end voting. What can you share with us further?
Yes, that is true. We came over to you when we were in Wa, but now we are coming to you live from Nadoli primary where we have the Nadoli constituency polling station. At this particular polling station, we understand we have 618 delegates who were expected to cast their votes. But as we speak to you now, the district electoral officer, Mr. Daniel Kotia says all the delegates have cast their votes. And so as of now, officials are sitting down waiting. You can see that they are here relaxing, waiting for 2 o'clock to hit so that they will start sorting, and then after sorting, they will count the ballots. So when we were in Wa, we realized that there were only 2 representatives of the flag bearer hopefuls, and those were Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Kennedy Ajapong. Here is the same. We have only 2 representatives who are here representing their presidential aspirants. We are unable to get representatives representing the other flag bearer hopefuls. We would want to interact with the district electoral officer, Mr. Daniel Kotia, to tell us how did the exercise fare. Thank you very much, Director, for your time. You are live on GTV.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, when did you start, and how did the exercise go?
Yeah, thank you. We started exactly 7 a.m. in the morning, but there were about 618 delegates here. The whole place was crowded, but by God's grace, we managed to go through the process and to finish voting. So we are now waiting for the 2 o'clock, the official time to close, so that we start the sorting and the counting, and afterwards we declare the results.
During the counting, what did you encounter?
We haven't started the counting.
No, I say, what did you encounter during the voting processes?
Oh, there wasn't any registered protest or whatever from any other person.
So it went on smoothly. What about issue of security here?
As you can see, there were policemen all over the place. So security was tight. And they will have cameras and these scanners. Whoever goes through the voting arena, you'll be scanned before what?
At WA, the delegates were asked to leave the phones at the entrance before they get to the voting center.
Yes, the same thing.
How is it like here?
The same thing.
Yeah.
Your phone, you asked to leave your phone outside, and if there will be body scanner, you'll be scanned before allowing to the voting area.
So, Mr. Daniel Kotia is the Nadoli Municipal Director of Electoral Commission. He says that the exercise has been good so far here, and as of now, they are waiting for 2 o'clock so that the representatives will be around and they'll open the ballot box, sort it and count it, and then announce the results and transmit it to the regional office for collation. We want to get a bite from the representatives of the presidential hopefuls. They have been here since morning. They observed the exercise till it ended. We want to find out from them what they have made of the exercise so far. Can you tell us your full name? First of all, you are Adam Evans. Dana, kindly stand here for me.
Okay.
Yes, so what do you make?
So far, so good. As you can observe around, everything is going on smoothly. Myself and then my brother, who is representing Ken, we are all together in it, and then so far we have not encountered any problem at all. So everything is going on smoothly.
Did you record any incident?
Not at all, no incidents. Not at all.
And you didn't have the cause to raise any concern?
Not at all, not at all.
So how will you describe the entire process?
The entire process for me is very smooth. The environment is understanding, then everybody is okay. The police handled everything okay. The EC officials also handled the entire process perfectly.
Yeah. Okay, so you are representing
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
The representative of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says he is very satisfied with the process so far, and what he's waiting for now, is time for counting, so that they will see the outcome of the. You are representing Ken Japan.
Yes, please.
Yes. So, what is your observation so far?
Okay, so far so good. As you can see around, everything is going on well, and the register too is okay for everybody. The system is. We hope that it ends this way. Yes, please.
You have not had any challenge?
No, please, not yet.
Okay.
But we don't hope so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you expect for the counting of the ballot? What do you expect to see?
Once I have represented a candidate, definitely I want him to win. Yes, I want victory for my boss.
Who is your boss?
Honorable Ken Ohene Ajapon.
Okay.
Yes.
So Mr. Albert says he's also satisfied with the process. But his hope is that after the counting, he expects his candidate, Kennedy Ajapong, to win. We are still here. We want to move to Jirapa and find out what is also happening there so that we can update our viewers and listeners on what is happening across the Upper West region regarding the presidential primaries, which is currently going on. George, back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Swala. So that's Swala Abdul Wahab from the Upper West region. Let's get back to our guests who are seated here. I'll pick the final comments coming from Loratu and move to Dr. Awal to finish up. Then Thelma is standing by to give us the profile of these 4 candidates, of which one of them will become the flag bearer for the New Patriotic Party ahead of the 2024 election. All right, so just finish up.
So just to address one of the issues that with regards to funding and all those things. I mean, if we all followed even just ended limited voter registration, you had MPs come out and talk about how much it cost them and all that. So when it comes to some of these things, even though not written, the party has the responsibility to make sure these things are done. But MPs and other interest parties within a constituency or region also come in, just as we pay dues, people donate to parties and all that. It's just a similar process. So if the MP for Assin Central has come in to support his constituency, that's something they've been doing. Okay. I'm sure he equally supported the limited registration and has been supporting the constituency even before this. So when it comes to these things, we need to be very measured in the way we come out with some of these statements.
All right. You were telling us about the entire process. You started off with some of the things you observed today. Any other thoughts that we can quickly move to Thelma? Yeah.
Well, so clearly those were the observations, and I think that as part of the electoral reforms, a lot of the reforms that I said were good relative to the NPP were based on the previous elections. Yeah, and then I think I would want to align with the thinking of Hackman Osajimai, that it's not necessary to openly tell people who you voted for. Of course. Yeah, clearly it's against the electoral rules of the NPP itself and by extension the National Electoral Commission of Ghana. So those are some initial thoughts that I have. I think I should share with.
All right. Okay. Yes, Lord.
Yes. So just a quick one with just to add on to Doc. I mean, that's what it should be. But the other thing too that we also need to realize is that there's party and there's government. I will get worried if the national executive, from chairman to general secretary, are openly doing it. But when it comes to government, and again, when it comes to other members of the party, you know, these are also party members. They will form teams. They will definitely form teams with members within the party. So some out of their belief in candidates and all that. But the worry should be when party executives were. And so far, majority of party executives, especially the chairman and the general secretary, have stuck to the principles of the party and not openly declared for everyone, because they are the ones going to work closely with whoever emerges as the flag bearer.
Okay, all right. We're going to pick the candidates now. We'll start with that of Kennedy Ajapong, and then move to the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and then to Dr. Mefria Koto, and then to Engineer Dynamo. So that's how the order actually is on the ballot paper for those who actually are voting for them. That's the delegates who are voting for them. So just all right. So let's just pick the profile. We have some bit of clip for you on that one. Then after which I'll tend to Thelma for that. Let's take a watch up.
Ghanaian politician and businessman represents Assin Central in Parliament for the New Patriotic Party. Kennedy Ohene Japan was born to the late Francis Ohene Kofi Japan and Mrs. Mary Nsia at Asin Dompem in the Central Region on the 16th June 1960 at Asin Dompem in the Central Region, turning 60 years in 2020. He had his secondary education at Adisadel College, also in the Central Region. Mr. Japan holds a GCE A-level and studied at Fordham University, New York, USA. He has been a Member of Parliament for almost 24 years. He was first elected a Member of Parliament in 2000 to the Asin North seat, retaining the seat in the 2004 and 2008 parliamentary elections. In 2012, he was elected to the new seat of Asin Central and re-elected in 2016. According to him, he has been a financier of the New Patriotic Party since 1992, supporting the party in critical periods. Kennedy Ejapon is married to Stella Wilson Ejapon and has 22 children, with most of them living in the United States. Mr. Ejapon is believed to be one of the leading contestants in the NPP presidential primaries, rubbing shoulders with Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Mr. Lancho Martin and other stalwarts in this year's presidential campaign. This is his first attempt to lead the New Patriotic Party as a flag bearer. Mr. Kennedy Japan's main campaign message is on a massive industrialization drive, tourism, and commercial farming to transform the economy.
To move this country forward, we need to make sure that we create job opportunities, especially for the youth. How are we going to do that? Going round, so far I've visited 180 constituencies, and I've come to realize that we as politicians have done a disservice to the nation. With the arable lands, rivers, sea that God has given to us, we are endowed with so many minerals, a lot of opportunities in this country. Now, everywhere you go, especially water region, the resources there are untapped. And I want Ghanaians to give me opportunity and challenge me that I will make sure I turn the fortunes of this country around.
To him, Ghana has a lot of natural resources which, if harnessed judiciously, can turn the country's fortunes around.
I don't believe in theory. I'm a pragmatic person. I believe in practical things. What I saw in Volta region, what I saw in Afram Plains area in Northern region, believe me, that we can change this country. We have arable lands in Volta region. They have advantage. I'm surprised that they have always voted for NDC and they don't do anything. Because the proximity of Volta region to the seaport, to the airport, gives them advantage over every region in this country. I visited there and I saw Mount Afajato, the caves, the water bodies like Oti River, Lake Volta, the sea itself, and the arable land so flat that we can cultivate millions of acres and come up with agro-processing industries. I think this is the way to go.
He is also promising support for the party members and the grassroots. The aspirant promises to instill discipline, hard work, integrity, and accountability among Ghanaians, especially the youth.
We need to be honest to ourselves. The level of dishonesty in this country is killing our economy. I believe in accountability. I'm sorry. If God gives me the nod, He will be a chief of staff. Listen to me carefully. One strike is out. Ghana first. He comes second. If he does anything against this country, I'll fire him. So can you imagine if I fired my chief of staff? The rest will sit up. If I didn't chief of staff has been fired. What about me, the director? What about me, the manager? It trickles down and we become disciplined. Discipline is key to the success of this country.
Mr. Japan says he will use his monthly salary to set up a scholarship scheme to support education for the needy but brilliant students. The aspirant is a farmer and businessman, director of Asin Farms, Supercare Group of Companies and Hollywood Shopping Center, Omang FM, Ash FM, Net2 TV, Minadora Ventures, MS Imperial World Business Limited, and Gold Point Communication. Mr. Kennedy Japan holds the view that his experience as a member of parliament, businessman, and long-standing politician stands him a good chance to lead the NPP to break the eight.
All right, so that was a profile of Kennedy Japan, and he's actually number one on the ballot paper. There. Let's turn to Thelma and get other information about him, especially during the Superdelegate Conference. Yes, Thelma.
Yes, so Honorable Kennedy Japan, some have called him the anti-establishment candidate. Is he? Perhaps Haja will help us to understand. But these are some of the numbers that he polled at the Super Delegates Conference on August 26th. So you can see some of the information that we are sharing on our screen. The final result at the end of the day, that day, we saw Honorable Kennedy Japan coming in at second place after His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So you can see from his chart here, and it tells you how many numbers he got overall from the 923 centers that voted. 14.3% is the number that he polled as a final tally, 132 votes going for Mr. Kennedy Ejapong in the final race. At the NPP headquarters, these are the numbers that he polled, and we can see here, right here, we can say his figures. 32 out of 147 votes that were cast at the NPP headquarters went in favor of Honorable Kennedy Ejapong. On the regional side, if we start right from the top, we also have an idea of his performance. We can see 2 out of 28 votes coming from Upper West region going to Mr. Kennedy Ejapong. Upper East also brought some figures for him, and we can see 2 out of Upper West also gave us 2 votes. So let's go to other regions, see who else, how many numbers that he got. Savannah region, I have on my screen, and 7 out of 26 votes going to Mr. Kennedy Ejapong. Northern region also voted, and their figures, 2 out of 49 went to Kennedy Ejapong. So I'm trying to take us to a regional breakdown of how the delegates, the super delegates, voted on August 26th. So on the screen now, we have the results of the Bono region. 5 of the delegates out of 35 voted in favor of Kennedy Ejapong. Oti region numbers, the chart you can see on your screen, and I'm pulling up how many out of 23 we get 5 people who voted for Mr. Kennedy Ejapong. Bono East region, I believe, is what we have on our screen now. 6 out of 31 chose Mr. Kennedy Ejapong to be the leader of the party. Ahafo region, 10 out of 25 voted for Kennedy Ejapong to be in the top 5 of this election that we are witnessing today. In the Ashanti region, we saw Mr. Kennedy Ejapong getting 6 out of 108 delegates, super delegates who voted in that region. 6 out of 108 people voted for Mr. Ejapong to be in the top 5 race. More reports, more results on our screens. In the Eastern region, 8 out of 69 delegates voted for Mr. Kennedy Ejapong in the August 26th race. And I'll go now to the Volta region to also give you a feel of what transpired. 4 votes going for Mr. Kennedy Ejapong out of 37. So these are the people who voted for Mr. Kennedy Ejapong in the Volta region at the August primaries. Western North on my screen right now, and I'll bring up the number 5 out of 26 going with Kennedy Ejapong on his quest. Central region, which is the region where the NP obviously has his seats. Asin Central gave him some numbers as well. And you can see on our screen, 19 of the delegates out of 47 chose Mr. Kennedy Agyapong to be in the next round of the election for the NPP, and he's come this far. From the Eastern region, these are the numbers Mr. Agyapong polled. 8 out of 69 of those delegates voted for Mr. Agyapong. And last but not the least, Greater Accra region giving us 15 out of 55 votes for Mr. Kennedy Agyapong. So, like I said, all that also happened whilst the numbers at the NPP headquarters were also added. And at the NPP headquarters, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong got 32 out of 147 votes cast at the headquarters, bringing it all together. The final tally on our screens. What was the figure? 132 out of 923. So this is the figure, the number that brought Mr. Kennedy Agyapong into the race. And now we are seeing the figures that we are seeing today. Votes still ongoing across all the centers. Some have ended because the people have showed up and they finished voting, but counting is yet to start. But these are the figures that brought the candidate number 1 on the ballot today for the NPP, Kennedy Agyapong, to this point. George.
Thelma, thank you very much. We'll get back to the other candidates. I'm going to move to our guest here. Let's talk about Kennedy Agyapong. Dr. Awa, I'll start with you on this. It's surprising to get to know where he's got into, especially when the entire exercise started.
Well, it does appear that over time, he's been able to warm himself into the hearts of people of the NPP and beyond. And I think that it boils from a number of factors. In every political dispensation, you always have the subjective and objective people.
Okay.
The subjective would go by every rule relative to the political dispensation, whether good or bad, and they would defend it to the latter. There are the objective who would say, no, my party, I am with you, but this I do not agree. And it does appear that Kennedy Agyapong has been able to be an objective politician within the nook and cranny of the NPP over time. So when things are going bad and NPP cannot swallow the bitter pill to say we are wrong, Kennedy is able to come out openly, publicly, to say, no, we are a party, we are a family, but this has been done what? Wrongly. And over time, that seemed to have endeared him to the followership of the NPP and also by extension, Ghanaians. A second factor that has endeared Kennedy to the NPP is the fact that he comes across as a generous person.
Okay.
One who helps people. We have heard a reportage of him helping students who are in the law school, medical school, establishing businesses for young people, people who are in the hospitals and cannot get discharged because of medical bills. Over time, he has shown that solidarity for people who are vulnerable. And that seemed also to be endearing to his political fortunes. I think over time, his challenge has been that in his quest to speak out his mind about national policies and also things relative to the NPP, people have had challenges with the way he has said some of the things. But it's an Afrocentric thing.
Afrocentric?
Yeah.
Okay.
Africans usually do not look at the issue, they look at how you say it.
Yes.
But clearly, I do not have an issue with somebody pointing at wrong, irrespective of how he says it. So I don't look at the presentation of his Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. I look at the things he has said over time. Are they right or wrong? And if they are right, then it means that is his character. We cannot be the same. You, my sister, and I have different ways of presenting our issue. Even our viewers, when the opportunities are given to us to present our views, we say it differently. Some shout, some are calm. It doesn't move the fact away from the reality that what we have said is either a truth or what? a lie. So as long as it remains truth, it is working for Kennedy Agyapong.
Okay.
And I think that is what has brought him this far.
When the whole exercise started, it was between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Alan Chermantin.
True.
Then after the Superdelegates conference, he came out second, which was a surprising one for a lot of people. Should he be expected to make any significant impact in this particular exercise?
I am afraid no.
You're afraid no?
Because of a number of factors.
Okay.
No, not because he's not competent enough.
Okay.
But from the footages I have watched today, juxtaposing it with some footages I watched within the week, it does appear that things are getting skewed towards Bawumia.
Skewed?
Yes.
Why do you say skewed? I mean...
Well, so I hear Chairman Wontumi make pronouncements that Ashanti region has agreed that they would finance the Congress, they will pay for delegates, they will pay for feeding, etc., etc.
Okay.
And then they will do that to inure to the benefit of what? Bawumia is on record as saying that. To show that the political party is just not Busia Dankwa, but Busia Dankwa Dombo. Now, less than 24 hours today, I was outside when I heard Prince Sadat coming from the youth wing. I heard Ken Oforiatta, who is the finance minister, in very plain English words, endorsing His Excellency Bawumia. I heard the chief of staff, who didn't say it directly, but said, my sister has diffused the issue of continuity, so yes, perhaps I won't go back to that. But it does appear to me, as an academic, I'm just wearing my academic hat, that Kennedy would struggle to be able to emerge winner of this election. It is going to be very difficult for him. Now you go to his own constituency. In the previous, he had 19 out of what? His own region. He had 19 out of what? 47. Usually when you are getting into an election, your home is your key strength point. Yeah. So much as we didn't expect that he would beat Alan Chermantin, it is very clear to me that he's an emerging force in the leadership hierarchy, I mean presidential level of NPP. But to win this election would be a very big hurdle for him. Okay. Now, we will now also think about how did he beat Alan. Now, clearly, you know, Alan has a clear history with the NPP. And over time, Alan, when we were younger, and in the, I'm a product of the National Union of Ghana Students. We saw our colleagues always Alan Cash everywhere. And clearly so money plays an instrumental role in what? Politics. But and also perception. Now, Alan Cash then perhaps did not have money, but it was perceived that he had what? Money. That apart, his level of intelligence was hyped. Over time, he now got the opportunity to serve what? As a minister. So you could benchmark what he was supposed to do. You could just evaluate him. Over time, he's been given a ministry, he's managed it. So you could see his ups and also what? His downs. Within those same period, Ken did not take any ministerial position. I don't know whether he wasn't given or he refused. But even outside of mainstream government, he was doing things that was making lives better for what? Ghanaians, whether in the NPP or outside of it. And I think that inured to his second place in the previous election.
Laura too.
Yes, George. I mean, George, I've always stated that even when there were 10, any of those candidates would be the candidate for the NDC, whichever way. And now there are 4. First on the ballot is Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. I mean, we've all followed the campaign and all that. I mean, he talks tough. But one thing I also realized, and for the conversation we are having here, not to be biased, he talks tough, but we're also looking for a flag bearer who appeals to the general populace, which he has some appeal for. But you also look at it in terms of the ordinary Ghanaian. We've been, I think apart from Upper West, I've been around this country well, the average Ghanaian is conservative.
The average
Ghanaian is conservative.
Okay.
You know, and the average Ghanaian also looks out for consistency.
Okay.
You know, consistency of issues, consistency of sticking to your things you say and all that. So that may be one of the things that may not really go as a positive for God. But be as it may,
he's not consistent.
Be as it may.
I'm saying that he's not consistent.
I mean, from the utterances, I mean, we were sitting here in one breath, there was a showdown, in another breath, the process was smooth. But that is at the party level. But be as it may, he's done a great job moving around the constituencies. And all that most of these candidates did also whipped up sentiments within the party. We'll give it to him. Because there was a lot, if you followed when we went for the 2007 elections, the apathy. I mean, that is not something we are looking for in this, this 2023 thing. But we must give it to him. He's really whipped up sentiments. He's whipped up energy within the grassroots by also moving around. That one, nobody can take it away from him. But if we want to do proper analysis and proper trend analysis, and we want to go by what happened in super delegates, then I'll agree with Doc that it might be a struggle for him.
But he pulled a surprise with the super delegates.
No, but when we sat here, anybody who predicted him as one of the people who will be in the top
not
three.
Number 2.
You see, no, it was part of the top 3.
But not number 2.
It could be anybody's position.
Because number 1 and 2 was obvious.
But there were people who predicted him to be number 2. But you see, that is where perceptions come in. In 2007, there were perceptions, like Doc said, Alan Cash, establishment candidates, and all that. We saw the result. But if we want to do an analysis, let's even say there was a 5% margin of error. His highest percentage was 40% in Central, as against other candidates and their homes. Averagely, he made some 15 to 20, but on the whole, he got 14.3% in the super delegate. So if we are really doing a trend analysis, doing a proper analysis based on the super delegates, but you know the famous saying, fear delegates. Some one of the candidates even says, fear human beings. You know, so this can go anyway. But if we want to stick to what happened during the super delegate, then Honorable Kennedy Japan needs to really pull a lot of strings to get what he's aiming for.
Alan Chemantin had, I think it was...
some 6%.
Yeah, 95%. 95 votes, yes.
95 votes.
95 votes.
Some 10%.
Yes, some 10% thereabout. So, I mean, he's no more part of the race.
No.
Who are, I mean, those who voted for him, likely who would they go for? Between Ken and Dr. Bawumia and Dr. Friakuto and then Francis Adainu?
Those ones are left. Yeah, because if you also realize, most of the people who actually heralded the campaign of Mr. Alan Chemantin didn't move along with him.
Yes.
Definitely they'll find a candidate. But if you also look at the polls that have come out, most of them had a lot of undecided voted. There were high numbers, as high as 25% undecided and all that. There were as high as 19% in some regions not disclosing who they are voting for. So when it comes to these things, until the last ballot is cast, and EC, which is responsible for it, declares provisional results whilst they go on to collate and present their final results. It's not, but if we are going by what happened in super delegates, then we should have a fair idea of how this is going to go for him. But as it is, someone said 1,000 against 200 200,000 may not come with the same result.
Yes.
But with the efforts he's put in, with all that he said, with the sentiments he's equipped, you never know.
Okay, all right. Our next profile is about the vice president. That's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's actually number 2 on the ballot paper. So let's take a watch about his profile and his profile, after which Thelma will also join us on the screen there to get us to understand the data from the Super Delegates Conference. Stay with us. Profile of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was born on 7th October 1963 in Tamale to Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia and Hajia Mariama Bawumia. Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia was a teacher, lawyer, and politician, and Mamprogu Royal and chief of the Pariga traditional area at the time of his death in September 2002. He was a founding member of the Northern People's Party alongside Chief S.D. Domo, Chief Abeifa Kabo, Yakubu Tali, the Tonona, and J.A. Brima Kabachira. The Northern People's Party, the National Liberation Movement, and other opposition political parties later merged into the United Party, the forebear of the current New Patriotic Party. Born into a large family, Mahmoud Bawumia is the 12th of his father's 18 children and the second of his mother's 5. Mahmoud Bawumia attended the Sakasaka Primary School in Tamale and gained admission to Tamale Secondary School in 1975. After graduating from Tamale Secondary School, he went to the United Kingdom, where he studied banking and obtained the Chartered Institute of Bankers Diploma (ACIB). He was president of the Ghana United Nations Students Association (GUSA) in 1981. He took a first-class honors degree in economics at Buckingham University, UK in 1987. He holds a master's degree in economics from Oxford University, UK in 1988 and a PhD in economics in 1995 from the Simon Fraser University in Canada. His areas of specialization include macroeconomics, international economics, development economics, and monetary policy. From 1988 to 1990, Dr. Bawumia worked as a lecturer in monetary economics and international finance at the Emil Wolff College of Accountancy in London, England. He also served as an intern at the research department at the International Monetary Fund in Washington, D.C., USA. Between 1996 and 2000, Dr. Bawumia served as an assistant professor of economics at Hank Kramer School of Business, Baylor University, Texas, USA, where he also received the Young Researcher Award in 1998. As a result of Dr. Bawumia's commitment to excellence in teaching, he made the list of who is who among America's teachers in 1999. He returned to Ghana in 2000 to work as an economist at the Bank of Ghana. He rose through the ranks from senior economist to head of department and subsequently as special assistant to the governor of the bank, Dr. Paul Lakwa. President J.A. Kufuor appointed him as Deputy Central Bank Governor in June 2006. In 2008, the name Mahmoud Bawumia surfaced on the political scene again, this time not Mumuni Bawumia, but Mahmoud Bawumia, when he was picked by the presidential candidate of the NPP, Nana Akufo-Addo, to partner him in the 2008 general elections. After the 2008 elections, which the NPP and its presidential ticket lost by the narrowest of margins, Dr. Bawumia was engaged on several assignments internationally. He served as a consultant to the UN Economic Commission of Africa between February and March 2009, during which he prepared a paper on Africa's position on the G20 London Summit. From April to October 2009, Dr. Bawumia served as a visiting scholar at the University of British Columbia Lee Center for Global Studies and Fisheries Center. In October 2009, he was appointed as a fellow of the International Growth Center (IGC), a research institute based jointly at the London School of Economics and Political Science and Oxford University, that provides advice on economic growth to governments of developing countries, specifically serving as an IGC team member for Sierra Leone. He also served as an advisor to the Central Bank of Sierra Leone on the redesigning of the organizational structure of the bank and its monetary policy framework. Between October 2009 and October 2010, he also served as a senior research associate at the Center for the Study of African Economies, University of Oxford, Department of Economics. In January 2011, Dr. Bawumia was tapped by the African Development Bank and appointed to the position of resident representative of the African Development Bank for Zimbabwe. Dr. Bawumia was selected to partner Nana Akufo-Addo again for the 2012 general elections. After the Electoral Commission declared President John Mahama winner of the elections, the NPP went to the Supreme Court to challenge the outcome of the elections. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was a star witness for the petitioners, who were the presidential candidates Nana Akufo-Addo, party chairman Jacob Lamte, and the running mate Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Though the petitioners lost the petition, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia made a lasting impression on Ghanaians with quotes such as, "You and I were not there," and on the face of the pink sheet. Political waters are of the view that the petition and the performance of the star witness shaped Ghana's electoral process. NPP flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo again tapped the Economist and banker as his running mate for the 2016 elections, and this time round, the pair won the election. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia became vice president in 2017 after the NPP recorded a resounding victory in the 2016 general elections, a position many political analysts believe Dr. Bawumia has redefined its role and function. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, in his nearly 7 years as vice president, has redefined the role of vice president of Ghana through his impactful leadership. One widely known role assigned Dr. Bawumia is the economic management team, which he was asked to chair. However, the EMT on his own has no authority to take decisions without recourse to cabinet. At best, the EMT can only make recommendations to cabinet, and whether the recommendations are accepted or not, it is the end of work by the EMT, and this has the potential of rendering the head of the EMT and the EMT itself completely ineffective. Notwithstanding these limitations, Dr. Bawumia has had an outstanding impact through the transformation policies he has championed as vice president by going beyond the limited EMT role. When mention is made of Dr. Bawumia's remarkable impact as vice president, what easily comes to mind is his excellent job with the country's digital transformation. But beyond this are other transformational policies in healthcare, education, and infrastructure projects he has championed. Some of the transformational policies, services, and projects Dr. Bawumia has championed include zipline drones for delivery of medical supplies. The sites are Omenako, Mpenya, Vobsi, Sefibioso, and Numenkete Karachi. This has made Ghana the country with the largest medical drone delivery service in the world. Mobile money interoperability between bank accounts and mobile wallets, first in Africa. This has made Ghana rank first in Africa in terms of access to financial inclusion. Zongo Development Fund, a development vehicle for inclusive Zongo development. Nation Builders Corps NAPCO, a stopgap measure to respond to increasing graduate unemployment and also to offer young graduates work experience. One constituency, one ambulance, the policy which provided all 275 constituencies with brand new ambulances. Digitalization of National Identity Cards, Ghana Card, which is building a strong national identity system. Universal QR code system payment. Ghana is the first and only country in Africa to implement this. Ghana Pay mobile wallet by banks. Ghana is the first country in the world to implement this. National digital property addressing system, first in Africa. Paperless boards, which has increased efficiency and revenue mobilization. The Ghana card as a travel document to travel to Ghana. No guarantor student loans. Online passport application. National e-pharmacy platform. Ghana is the first country in Africa to implement a national-scale digital e-pharmacy platform. E-ticketing at football stadia. Ghana.gov platform for the delivery of government services. Bank of Ghana Gold Purchase Program, exchange of gold for oil imports program, a transformation policy which will impact on prices of oil products, product exchange reserves, and the depreciation of the exchange rate. Dr. Bawumia says with possibility mindsets, the NPP can break the two-term jinx in government.
Together with you, I want to see an industrialized nation. I want to entrench and enhance the current strategy of industrialization that we have embarked on, and also introduce new technology like digital manufacturing for the manufacturing of spare parts, syringes, and other equipment. Together with you, I want to see a Ghana with robust fiscal discipline in the management of our public finances to sustainably and significantly reduce our interest rates.
Dr. Baumia says his vision for Ghana is a country that is prosperous, dignified, and safe.
It is possible to break the eight in order to continue with the transformational policies we have started. It is possible. And that is why I am offering myself in all humility to contest in the primaries of this phenomenal party, the great new patriotic party, to become our flag bearer and presidential candidate for 2024. And inshallah, the President of the Republic of Ghana.
He is of the view that Ghana can become a leader in digital innovation and achieve the economic growth and development the country craves and deserves.
I have a compelling vision for Ghana's future. It is possible for Ghana to be like the advanced nations if we put our minds to it and put our energies behind it. It is possible. With the technologies available, the new ones that are emerging, and a renewed mindset, we can leapfrog impossibilities and make the unimaginable possible.
He's appealing to NPP delegates to give him the mandate to lead the party to victory in the 2024 general elections.
Right. Thanks for staying on. We've just seen the profile of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is number 2 on the list of contestants today, who is aspiring to be flag bearer of the NPP. Let's look at what numbers told us, or what the numbers are telling us from August poll for the super delegates. George is at the screen now.
So for that of the super delegates, that was on August 26. We pick up from the final results in here, and looking at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who pulled 68.15% of the total votes. Had 229 votes out of the 923 votes. So that was the final outcome of that particular super delegates conference that took place on August 6. And at the party's headquarters, this was the figure there. He had 72.79% and about 107 votes out of the 147 votes that actually people voted there at the party head office. Let's look at the regional breakdown of these particular figures. We'll move straight to the Upper West region, and for the Upper West region, he had 82.14%, which the 23 votes out of the 28 delegates that actually voted on that particular day in the Upper West region. And let's just look at the votes and the trend in there. We'll move to the Upper East, and still coming on top, having 88.57%, getting 31 votes out of the 35 delegates that voted on the Super Delegate Conference. And we'll move downwards to the Savannah region, and still top the Savannah region with 73.08%. and having 19 votes out of the 26 votes on that particular day. That was on August 26th during the Super Delegates conference. And then we'll come to the Northern region. And for the Northern region, he pulled 95.92%, over 96%, I'll put it as such. And he had 47 out of the 49 votes that actually people went out there to vote on that particular day. And this is coming from the Northern region. We move to the Bono region. And for the Bono region, he pulled 80% coming from the Bono region, 28 votes out of the 35 delegates that voted from the Bono region. You realize so far he's been in the lead throughout all the regions we've done so far. And that brings us to the Bono East region. All right, let's move to the OT region. Now to the OT region, he had 69.57%, which is 16 votes out of the 23 delegates that voted on that particular day coming from the OT region. And then we'll come to the Ahafo region. And for the Ahafo, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 52%, being 13 votes out of the 25 votes. And this is coming from the Ahafo region. We'll come down to the Ashanti region, a very interesting region for the New Patriotic Party, especially Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, knowing very well during the Super Delegates conference. We also had Alan Chamantin contesting in this particular exercise. Interestingly, he had 97 votes out of the 108 delegates made up during the Super Delegates conference, and that represented 89.81% of the votes from the Ashanti region. And this really, I would say, gave him a lot of edge moving into this main exercise. And then to the Eastern region, another interesting region also for him. He had 59 votes out of the 69 votes that actually delegate voted on that particular day, representing 85.51% of the votes coming from the Eastern region. Then to the Volta region, another interesting region, because during the Super Delegates conference, we heard from Alan Chamantin saying a lot about he's also having some bit of votes coming from the Volta region. Interestingly, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia carried the day from the Volta region, having 29 votes out of the 37 delegates who went out there to go and vote, representing 78.38% of that particular vote. Then we come to the Central region. And it's a very interesting region, knowing very well that Kennedy Japan comes from that same region too. And for that of the Central region, he had 25 of the 47 votes, and representing 53.19% coming from the Central region. I'll come to the Greater Accra region. And for the Greater Accra region, he had 36 votes out of the 55 people who went out to go and vote. So represented 65.45% of the votes. And finally touch base the Western region. And for the Western region, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia pulled 83.78%. He had 31 votes out of the 37 votes. And finally to the Western North region, where he had 69.23% of the votes. And in breaking down of that percentage figure, he had 18 out of the 26 delegates who voted coming from the Western North region during the Super Delegates Conference that came off on the 26th of August. That was like 70 days ago. So this is just a breakdown of the figures he got, and you realize that he actually won all the regions. So Tama, over to you.
Thank you, George, for those figures. Haja, obviously the front runner in the what some have called a two-horse race. Polls have all suggested up to date that His Excellency, the Vice President, will win this primaries.
Oh.
What do you make of his journey so far and where we are?
So when you look at the analysis George just went through, if you are going by that, And I will again say, even if you give it a margin of error of even 8%, which is the highest margin of error you can introduce into any research, he's the candidate to beat if we're going by the super delegates Congress and the data you've put out there. But let's come to the candidate, Dr. Baumia. Forget about he being someone of Northern descent. Forget about he being...
So we should leave the Dombo
Forget
argument
about... I said forget about he being someone of Northern descent. Forget about he being a Muslim. Right. You have seen how the NPP has grown from 1992 till date. There's been a lot of perceptions. And apart from he being a male, what are the minorities in every group? Let's use the NPP. The minorities in NPP is the Northern group, is the Muslim group, and women. So for me, that is the candidate of hope for those of us within the minority groups. As a woman, as I sit here, when I look at the transformation of Dr. Baumia and where he's got into, it gives me hope that a woman can lead the NPP in future. That's the hope he exudes. And this is someone, even though it's perceived he has the support of the establishment, he didn't sit in his office. I'm told he's even gone to certain regions 5 times, appealing directly to candidates. And just before I came in, I was shown a video of him calling delegates directly. For me, he's worked his way to where he's got into. Okay. This is a candidate and an individual where whenever something goes great for the government, he doesn't get the credit. But the moment it goes off, he's the one who everybody goes after in the general sense of it. So for me, that is the candidate of hope for anyone within the NPP who ever thought they won't get to the top. And it gives me greater hope, and I must repeat that as a woman can lead the NPP one day.
So I'll take that as your initial comment. Yes. Help us understand this from your expertise. One of the polls, the analysis were that the president's approval ratings had a direct bearing on the person who is perceived to have his approval as well, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Do you find that to be, do you expect that would help or hinder the vice president's chances in this race?
Well, if I understood the question, the question is the president's approval ratings.
Yes. So the poll that was done by this group, let me refer to it quickly, okay. Suggested that the president had an approval rating of 79%. So they asked questions about what people thought about how the president has handled his job.
Okay.
And they got 79% approving from those they polled. They sampled only NPP delegates in this case. 79% said they approved of the president's job. And the suggestion was that those who perceived the president's job as being a good job would transfer that same approval rating they have for the president's job onto the candidate perceived to have the president's blessing. And I'm asking, do you think that will help? How do you think that will help or hinder his chances in this race?
Well, thank you very much. I think the question is very clear. Now, clearly so, if the president has, from the polls, if the perception is that the president has done well, clearly endorsed by 79% of those who were sampled. It clearly will also say that his government, of which Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is a part, actually he's just the immediate deputy. The perception would have been that he has also done what? Well. So clearly it will inure to the benefit of His Excellency Mahmoud Baumia. I mean that specific polls. Going away from the polls, We have also seen that in the Superdelegates Congress, he led by over 68%. So amongst the four of them who are in the race now, he is the one who is what? Leading. His chances get even better, especially in the Ashanti region without Alan Chermantin. You know, Alan's home is the Ashanti region. And when you are getting into a race, usually your home gives you a lot of what? Support. It will be the reason why Kennedy Japan got his highest votes from what? The central region. Now, Baumia is not from the Ashanti region, but he led there with a homegrown what? Person. That homegrown person is out of it. So it gives him an enhanced chance in the Ashanti region. So tendencies are that all things being equal, if the playing grounds are as they were, it would his percentage would what? Increase, especially in the what? Ashanti region. Now remember also that the NPP has a tradition. They call it, my sister, how do you call it? Dankwa Buzia Dombo tradition. Now, clearly that is to tell you that it's a kind of tripartite kind of a political party. Okay. Now, the Dombos have never actually, apart from the days of the Northern People's Party, they haven't been seen to what? Rule the NPP, and by extension, getting into the presidency of Ghana. And this appeared to the NPP as a chance to reward what? The Dombos. And clearly, NPP is communicating this they are communicating it very, very, very clearly. I saw footages of that with Chairman Wuntumi, when he said that Ashanti region, he's spoken with chiefs and some people, and they are going to contribute money for the Congress, and they would endorse His Excellency Baumia very overwhelmingly, so that people would know that it's a Buzia Dankwa Dombo tradition. So clearly that Dombo factor is also going to work for His Excellency Mahmoud Baumia. Now, we have also seen that over time, it does appear, it's been a rumor, but me, from where I sit now, I have seen evidences to endorse the rumor. So I feel that it's no longer a rumor. It does appear to me that His Excellency is the establishment what? Candidate.
It's a perception.
All right. We do see it as a perception, but today we saw the Minister of Finance endorsing him. We did also see the administrator of the youth wing endorsing him against the ethics of the party, because I saw Hackman say clearly today, yeah, that it is not right to do such. So from those, it can be perception when you don't have prima facie evidence. But as we sit now, there are legal, if you ever want to go to court to say that it appears the system supports Baumia, the evidences you will be tailoring in would include some of this. My sister does not agree, but that's what I think. So, yeah. So I feel that the establishment thing would also work for Baumia. Okay. Now, recall also that getting to become an establishment candidate doesn't come by sitting in your house. Exactly. Clearly, it's a product of work over time. Are we together? Now, in political circles, there are people who are used for diverse categories of what? Work. Clearly, over time, when there are hard decisions to communicate to Ghanaians, it does appear to me that it's the vice president that what? Takes the bull by the horn on behalf of the party, making the promises, trying to ensure that things are done. So he's earned that title of what? Established. It didn't come by what? Chance. So these are some of the things that I do think, based on the evidences, perceptions, orientations, media reportage, etc., etc., and the previous election, the one leading to this. These are the indicators that are making me informally judge that he would come up tops at the end of today.
What do you think are the chances of, now we have one name on the December 7 ballot paper from the camp of the NDC. If His Excellency should win this race today, that makes him the second name on that ballot paper for December 7 next year, pitted against the candidate Mahama. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I do think that it will be a hard road to cross for the NPP. It will be a hard road for the NPP to cross because His Excellency Bawumia, in the course of his duty, have made some promises that have not come to what? Pass. An example is the Cape Coast what? Airport. A number of such, you see, in political dispensations, your actions and inactions determine your future. What you have done today or have not done today determines what you can be in future. And I'm afraid that those things will play back on his person and invariably the political party. Now, I recall when I was undergraduate, we did some bits of marketing. There's a person called Joseph Goebbels. He came out with a principle called the Goebbelian principle.
Hitler's guy.
Yeah, and Joseph Goebbels says that a lie told over and over again becomes what? The truth. Now, within the body politics of Ghana, there's a certain perception that Bawumia is a liar. It's a perception. It may be out of communication continually. Bawumia is a liar, it's not corrected. Bawumia is a liar, it's not corrected. Then it becomes what? The truth. That is what Joseph Goebbels what? Says, I'm applying it home. Are we together? He may intend good, but tendencies are that if the issues are not corrected, it becomes your what? Identity. And that is what I am afraid may come against what? The NPP as a political party.
So on that basis, would it be better then to choose any of the other three on the ballot to be pitted against the former president?
Well, sincerely, I'm not NPP, but if I was, between Bawumia and then Kennedy Agyapong, I would have gone for Kennedy Agyapong, looking into the election, not just immediately.
Hadia.
Thelma, just continue from where Doc started. When you see a dog has how many legs? 4, right? If you add the tail to it, does it have 5 legs? It still has 4 legs. So as for that theories are debunked all the time. That perception of seeing His Excellency the Vice President as being a liar is one of the easiest things to diffuse, if you ask me, because he obviously is not a liar. And when you ask me a specific question, if he wins, he's going to be the second person on the ballot as against the former president, Mahama, who has clearly told the people of this country that during elections, candidates lie. So even on that score, one has already defined himself as a liar for the sake of argument, and one is perceived to be one. So perception. But when it also comes to, I still insist that Dr. Bawumia being seen as the establishment candidate will still remain a perception, because Dr. Bawumia will not, if he wins, is not going to lead government. He's going to lead the New Patriotic Party. Has the New Patriotic Party as an entity endorsed any candidates? No. If we had endorsed any candidate, then we wouldn't be going through the process that we are going through. We are here because we are looking for a flag bearer, and each of them will come with their positives and negatives. As for who becomes the candidate, it's up to the 203,000, a little over 203,000 delegates to decide.
Okay.
There's been a phase 1, so that will be our reference point. That is why I said if we are going with the analysis and even giving it the highest margin of error of 8%, that is the candidate to beat. But then you also know that the way people think is different. Circumstances change. Someone may have voted for him earlier, may decide.
Policies and Cape Coast, the airport situation, the trains, the Sky Train situation, and people want to raise these things on the campaign trail. On that basis, do you think that he can, surmount those hurdles?
We went into an election with a lot of promises, right? We went into an election with a manifesto. And I don't think from 1992, any government that has succeeded has gone. Because when you are outside, and now, even though he has the economic management team and all that, the buck doesn't stop with him. He has a boss who determines what happens. But all he has done throughout is to support his boss no matter what. Right. And that is something we must commend. That is something every leader who understands the hierarchy and everything should do. You may have your perception, you may have your opinion, but the buck stops with the person. Today, when we are mentioning till 7 January 2025, who is the President of the Republic? Is His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. But from today, if we are going to mention the leader of New Patriotic Party as the flag bearer, will be one of the 4 that are going for the contest. So let's put the issues in context.
I know that Doc would have wanted to have a quick minute to rebut, but let's look at the profile of our next candidate so that we can make some more analysis. Former Agric Minister Dr. Efriye Akoto is number 3 on the ballot today for the NPP, and this is his story.
Dr. Efriye Akoto graduated from the University of Ghana with a bachelor's degree in agricultural science. He obtained his MSc and PhD degrees in agricultural economics from the University of Cambridge in England. He worked as an economist, senior economist, principal economist and chief economic advisor for a period of 18 years at the International Coffee Organization (ICO) in London, England. He also worked as a consultant to the World Bank and the United Nations on soft commodities, cocoa, coffee, sugar. Between 1995 and 2007, he was the CEO of 2 international commodity companies, Goldcrest Commodities Limited and Plantation Resources Limited, both based in Ghana. In 2007, he was appointed the chairman of the NPP Manifesto Committee and was the principal author of the party's manifesto for the 2008 elections. He was subsequently elected as Member of Parliament in 2008. He spent 2 terms as Member of Parliament for Kwadaso constituency in Kumasi, Ashanti region. In Parliament, he held the positions of Deputy Ranking Member and subsequently the Substantive Ranking Member for the Committee on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs until 2017. In 2017, President Akufo-Addo appointed him Minister for Food and Agriculture. Dr. Akoto spearheaded the design and implementation of the government's transformational agricultural flagship program, Planting for Food and Jobs (PFJ). Under his leadership, an Act of Parliament established the Tree Crop Development Authority in 2020 to coordinate and promote the development of 6 tree crops: cashew, rubber, oil palm, coconut, mango, and shea. At full development, these selected crops have the combined potential of generating an additional $12 billion per annum to supplement the annual $2 billion from cocoa. It was during his tenure that the National Cocoa Rehabilitation Program was relaunched through which a total farm area of 56,343 hectares was fully treated across the cocoa growing regions as of 30th September 2022. Dr. Efriye Akoto is putting himself forward to the delegates of the NPP to lead them into the 2024 general elections.
This party belongs to all of us, and unity is strength. The people who are leading our campaign understand that philosophy very well. You cannot break the 8 with half an egg. It has to be the full egg. And everybody in this party is important in that respect, especially the delegates who have been given the constitutional powers to choose the flag bearer of this party. And I hope that At the end of the day, we will be given the opportunity for delegates to listen to us, to make the right choice so that this party can retain power come 2024.
He is prioritizing industrial agriculture to transform the economy.
Food, renewable energy, water, and big data will drive this new order. Africa, and for that matter, Ghana, has the potential to lead this new order by strengthening all sectors of the economy and transforming agriculture sustainably to feed and enrich its people. Over 200 million Africans continue to struggle with food insecurity. This issue has been further deepened by COVID-19, the effects of climate change on agricultural production, political instability across the continent, macroeconomic instability, and the raging debt crisis that many African governments face, including our own.
Dr. Akoto spearheaded the Tree Crop Development Authority and believes by maximizing these crops, Ghana can rake in the much-needed revenue.
There is the urgent need for things to be done differently if we are to succeed in transforming our agriculture. The critical success factors in our transformation agenda will hinge on the following: political will. Ghana has to prioritize agricultural transformation at the highest level of government through the implementation of a well-defined vision and strategy. The investment needed to achieve sustainable food systems will be non-negotiable in my vision to transform agriculture for the professional.
Dr. Efri Akoto is confident that by prioritizing issues of agriculture for policy making, he has what it takes to lead the party.
We shall also support social development programs aimed at reducing illiteracy among rural households and farmers to increase the adoption of new technology. We shall develop curricula in our educational system that shall equip students with a mindset, knowledge, and skills for agricultural education.
If he gets the nod to do so, agriculture in the country will receive significant attention to be the main source of revenue.
Dr. Efri Akoto, and he's 3 on the paper. George, what do the figures tell us from August 26?
Okay, we'll start off with the final results for Dr. Efri Akoto, former Agric Minister. Finally, he had 36 votes out of the 923 total ballot cast. You have 3.9%, just roughly 4% if you were to approximate it, just 4% of the total vote cast on that particular day. From the headquarters, he was able to pull 2 out of the 147 votes, which represents 1.36%, and this is coming from the NPP headquarters during the Super Delegates Congress. Now to a regional breakdown. This time around, I'm starting from the Western region for Dr. Efri Akoto, a former Agric Minister who is number 3 on the ballot paper for this particular exercise to elect a flag bearer for the New Patriotic Party. He had 3 out of 37 votes from the Western region, representing 8.11% from the Western region. From the Central region, okay, Dr. Efri Akoto had 3 out of the 47 votes, represented 6.38% coming from the Central region. We'll move to the Greater Accra region, also representing about 5.45%, which is 3 out of the 55 votes. You're realizing the figures I've been mentioning so far. I mean, this is coming from the Greater Accra region. Let's do Volta region for Dr. Efri Akoto. For the Volta region, he had 8.11%, which is 3 out of the 37 votes coming from the Volta region. The eastern region for Dr. Usefri Akoto, the eastern region, he had 1 out of 69 delegates for the Super Delegates Conference that came off, which represented 1.45% for the eastern region. Now the Ashanti region, which is the region that he comes from, expectation is that would have just put a lot of votes coming from the Ashanti region, but he pulled just 5 out of the 108 delegates who went out to vote during the Super Delegate Conference, which represents 4.63% coming from the Ashanti region. And then we'll move to the Bono East region. Okay, so let's move to Oti region, and then Dr. Osifri Akoto. All right, I think we have the Bono East region here, so let's just stick to the Bono East region. The Bono East region, he had 3 out of 31 votes, which represented 9.68% coming from the Bono East region for Dr. Osifri Akoto, the former Greek minister. He's number 3 on the ballots paper. And then we move to the Oti region. For the Oti region, he had 2 out of the 23. So that means 21 people didn't vote for him. And then representing 8.7% of the votes that he had coming from the Oti region. Then to the Bono region, Dr. Osu Efriakuto had 2 out of 35 votes. It means 33 people didn't vote for him, representing 5.71% of the votes coming from the Bono region. And to the Savannah region, well, this is what happened at the Savannah region, and you can read from the map in here that totally down. He had 0. Nobody voted for him coming from the Savannah region out of 26 people who voted from the Savannah region. Then to the Northern region, you can also imagine what happened at the Northern region. Obviously, he had 0. 49 people voted coming from the Northern region, and then none actually voted for him. The Upper West region, he put some votes in the Upper West region. 3 out of the 28 people that voted for him, representing 10.71%. And still up there to the Upper East region, Dr. Owusu Efriakoto, number 3 on the ballot for this particular exercise, had 1 out of 35 who went out there to vote during the Super Delegates Conference, and representing 2.86% of the total votes. And then for the Northeast, and that will be our final region for Dr. Owusu Efriakoto. If it's down there like that, that's 0. So he actually had 0 coming from the Northeast region. So that's briefly on him. But the final one from the entire results, he had 3.9%, roughly, let's just say 4% of the entire votes during the Super Delegates Conference that came off on August 26. Yes, Dema.
We'll be going to our news desk very, very soon so that we can bring you up to speed with all the happenings during our news telecast at 2 p.m. We have barely 5 minutes to wrap this up before the news starts. Doc, Dr. Owusu Akoto touts his great credentials as his ace in the hole. Will that work with the delegates?
I don't think so. For me, I think that his involvement in this whole exercise is good for political studies in future. So at least students of political science would have read that in the growing history of the NPP, at a given time, these people contested to become president, and he was part of them.
Planting for Food and Jobs, all the programs that he did under his watch will not work in his favor?
It doesn't appear to me they will work for him.
Right. Hadia?
Oh, I mean, going by what was presented, it's obvious that it might be a struggle for Dr. Akoto. But this is an election. You never know. Surprises one. But all I can say is his passion to lead a new patriotic party is quite admirable. And we can only wish him well. But he started pretty early. I think he's been at this for close to 2 years, even before any of these candidates decided they were going to contest. But with the figures we are seeing, let's see how it goes.
I think we'll keep you and Doc around for a few more sessions when we return from our news package. You're watching GBC's live coverage of the NPP primaries today, November 4. 4 candidates vying for one position, the flag bearer, going into election 2024. And it is the Asin Central MP, Mr. Kennedy Ejapong, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, former Agric Minister Dr. Uswifri Yakutu, and Mr. Francis Adainemo, the engineer, who are asking the over 200,000 delegates of the NPP to vote for them to be the leader of the party. Who wins and who loses, we will find out at the close of day today. We'll take a break on this panel and we'll we'll keep with the coverage via our news channel. And so we'll be handing over to our news desk for the continuing part of this coverage. Stay with GBC News and GTV. This is far from over and the race is still on. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the news at 2.
As we commiserate